I was at the club the other night. I was down at Life, chilling at the club. You know, chilling with this girl, and she was dancing. And it's about 2 in the morning. I'm talking to her, and realized she had like 2 kids at home. Now I don't mind the 2 kids at home. That's all good. I'm like, what the fuck is you doing in the club at 2 in the fucking morning on a Wednesday night? What the fuck?
Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter. Call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter. Call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter. Call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter. Call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. I ain't never had a problem with a bitch. Young fly, yeah, nigga getting rich. Hit the club, got my bitches on the list. Drop some commas on some Prada, better holla cause I'm lit. He probably wonder where his mama at. Got DCF on the steps and the welcome mat. But my service with a burden, I'ma give him a brother. And if the youngin' get the wallet, he at camp for the summer. She fucking with me cause she know that I'm bout that. MKZ be the whip with the loud pack. 4 hoes deep and they latch to my belt strap. The crib reek of weed in the streets probably smell that. In the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club.
The club stops for nothing. She gotta get that party out her system somehow, and the bar's still jumping. So get your squad to meet with my squad in the car, straight bumping your favorite song about how men ain't shit and hit up the function. Only thing that can stop me is if a baby daddy run up on me. I'm with your baby mama, but she ain't got no baby body. I'm in the blazing sign. I've been rocking with the lady drama, product of what I drop, and I ain't about to waste a condom. Her last man had a problem with Ativan, and if he find out where she's hanging, he'll get in his battle stance. Now the club ain't no church and the church ain't no club, but she's happy to get her drink on and leave with a broke bum. And they'll call this misogynistic, like booty popping and pimping, cause I'm trying to fuck, but I'm also wondering where her kids is. And girls wanna dance to songs that refer to women as bitches. If you let your kids dance to it too, don't cancel me for tripping.
Mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club.
Out, bruh, now you buggin'. You pay a lot of money for your kid and now she stuntin'. You working for a living, but she sippin' and she puffin'. You try and hit a line, but she fucking so she dubbin'. I ain't stressin' by the hoe, I been getting up my money. She sayin' that she loyal, but she fucking with your buddy. And shawty let it clap on the snap for everybody. She say she went to college, but the hoeing what she studied. I know you wanna backtrack, skipping that tap. One mistaken, now your life changed, saying that's that. She get it poppin' with her bitches and she make it rack slack. Now your baby got no dinner, only eating fruit snacks. Leave a message, little bitch. Why you playing with me? I seen your ass up on the snap, you should be laying with me. I pay your rent and all your payments and I'm hating to see. I heard you got a babysitter, I ain't paying the fee.
Mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club. She gon' need a babysitter, call a babysitter. She gon' need a babysitter. Thot mommy's in the club.
To people freaking out about me posting about asking for a babysitter online, I talk to these people. I'm not a moron. I don't particularly like agencies. I don't like the people that agencies send over. I find that I found off of Instagram are really kind individuals once I find somebody. So you guys should calm down.
The family, especially if you're a single mother. All of the demographic evidence suggests that women have become increasingly unhappy since the early 1960s. So, cross-sectional studies continually conducted year after year show precisely that. And it could easily be because they're taking on more and more responsibility. You'd think, well, you have a career and it's fulfilling and all of that, but it's not just fulfilling. It's stressful and difficult. And if you have a career and a family, especially if you're a single mother, well, good luck to you, man. You're run off your feet nonstop and you're a target for every predatory male in the neighborhood. It's not a pleasant, mode of existence, and it's not one I would recommend for people, even though there are many single mothers who do, heroic work, doing the best they can for their families, but they're completely overwhelmed. You can't work and have kids and be single. How the hell could you do that? It's 2 full-time jobs, at least, and that's only if you have 1 kid.
There we are. How about now? Is that better? Better? We good? 1, 2, 3. We good? Yo. No, I'm on. We still up? Hello. No, I see you. Hold on. Oh, man. Is it good? We're good. Yes. Okay. Good. Stupid. StreamYard. My bad. Ah. Stupid. All right. Well, welcome to Masterpiece Theater. I am your host, Rollo TOMASSI. Thank you very much.
Hello there,
all right. We're good. Oh, God. That's the thing, man. I tell you, StreamYard is very particular when it comes to audio. Yes. Well, anyways, hopefully you did get the gist of most of that here. So I was made aware of this last week. I thought maybe we should possibly get to, oh, look, Fake Rollo's already in the account yet. All right. Hi, Fake Rollo. Let's see. Where are you? Man, we'll do a little bit of Q&A today too. We'll do good Q&A. Good intro using her. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. What do you got here? Who's on? Allie's in. What's up? I'm so glad. I'm so sad because that looked really fire. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's see. We good now? Did you guys get the rest of that stuff? I don't even know what started, what didn't. Thank you, Chris Mike, for that. Yes. There we go. Well, anyways, I think maybe we'll start with this. These were pretty good. I was made aware of this stuff last week. This was Mikhaila Peterson, and I will tell you this: that I was a little bit skeptical when I first saw this because I thought maybe somebody was trying to run some scam on me or something, or like try to bait me into doing a show exactly like this, right? So here we go. Looking for a full-time family assistant in Nashville or Miami, which I thought was really interesting, or willing to relocate to Miami. Someone used to working with executives like her, babysitting on the weekends, after school drop off, and pick up extracurricular activity, planning, assistant work, managing the house, yada yada. Looks like you're looking for a wife there. I've got some other good stuff today too. Let me grab this one here. Oh yes, wait a minute. Looking for a babysitter in Miami now. Wow, I didn't even know she was there. I just got this a day ago, as a matter of fact. And as fate would have it, I am going to be in Miami starting tomorrow. So I tried to reach out to our good friend Mikhaila. I said, Mikhaila, I have experience. I've raised a daughter from infancy, from like smaller than your daughter to an adult. In fact, she's getting she's graduating from her, getting her postgraduate degree next month. And graduating Magna, as a matter of fact. So, proud dad, right? So I think I'm clearly a good choice to watch Scarlett for you. So I'm this video, at least the first part of this video right here. Now, the whole video is not going to be about just Mikhaila, because everybody keeps, because this is going to be another thing about Mikhaila again. Oh, he must really want to bang her. No. You don't get away. You don't get out. You don't get off that easy. You know how much crap I had to eat? What time is it? You know how much crap I had to eat after those videos? Do you know how much crap I had to take after the Kill the Party video? Hell, I'm still taking crap in that video and the comments and everything else in there. Still, and that was back in like what, the end of October, middle of November. And then, of course, I did the infamous interview with her. And then we saw her on The Roommates and yada, 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 and on Fresh and Fit and on some other places too. And, you know, it's just like,
say my name.
Yeah, one after the other. At least, you know what, I will say this. At least Mikhaila has the balls to like say my name. Unlike other people, unlike other content creators who are quote unquote red pill or didn't want to be red pill until they wanted to be red pill. Now they're not red pill again. Yeah. At least, Mikhaila, thank you. At least you will say my name. However, then these things surfaced today. I don't know if you caught these, but
people freaking out about me posting about asking for a babysitter online. I talk to these people. I'm not a moron. I don't particularly like agencies. I don't like the people that agencies send over. I find that people I found off of Instagram are really kind individuals once I find somebody. So you guys should calm down.
I guess we should all calm down, right? I guess we should all calm down. I guess, you know, when I was, let's see, when I did the Kill to Party episode and I referenced her, this is exactly what I was talking about. Exactly. To the letter. I don't think she even made it better than I could have made it back then. I mean, I was still running off of, Twitter posts and videos and what I had found and just, a little bit of background check. That's all I was running from at that time. And now here we are. Yet here we are. So I wanted to take this moment to apply for the babysitter job. I will be there. Let's see. I'll fly in. I'll be actually flying into Miami, not Fort Lauderdale this time. I will be in Miami tomorrow evening, and I will be there until Saturday. So, Mikhaila, you have my number. Please text me. Call you. I'm blocked on every damn social media. I understand that, but you do still have my number because that's how you contacted me for the interview in the first place. So, I already have some really fun activities already planned and ready to go. Let's do it. I'm happy to do it. Let's go. Tell me when. Where do I pick her up? I'll be happy to watch her for a day, 2 days. I don't know how long you're going to be there. Well, I don't even know why you're there, but I'll be happy to watch the kid for you. No problem. Can I do that? I'm very good with kids. I'm very good. I've had a daughter. I have a niece. I'm very good. I can handle it. Oh my Lord. And so of course that was in response to this stuff right here. Looking for a full-time family assistant. Then of course we get to Miami, looking for a babysitter in Miami. Well, here I am. You don't even have to check do background check on me. You know who I am. Available this week during the days, starting Wednesday through Saturday. Fortunately, I will be right there. I can hardly wait. Oh my Lord. Looking for a babysitter in Miami for the next week that can go do fun activities. I've already got them planned. We can go deep sea fishing. Would you like to go deep sea fishing, Scarlett? I would love to take you deep sea fishing. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, this is so great here. And then, of course, everybody started saying, well, this is for real. She's actually doing this. She's actually trying to find somebody on Instagram to watch her kids. Well, I'm not a stranger. I know who she is. I'm quite aware. I'll be happy to watch Scarlett for you. Why is... I'm wondering why Andre is now watching. What changed? What shifted? And I'm not really understanding. I'm not really sure. So it says it might be unethical to take advantage of your fame and celebrity status to find a babysitter. You're right. I'm asking to hire the nearest serial killer without paying them so I can take advantage of them and put Scarlett in harm's way. Heavenly days. I won't be doing any reference checking, and I'm only going to hire people who are scary and untrustworthy. Quit bugging me about it. I like hiring people who know me, and I don't like agencies. Well, good news. I'm right there. Let's do this. Okay. Somebody tell her. Somebody who's not me needs to go out there and jam that one. Oh, man. There we go. Am I good now? Can you guys hear me? Yes, you can hear me. Of course you can hear me. Yeah, you can. Okay. What you got up here? Great music video. Thank you. Well, that's my good friend Kevin Savo, who I'm doing the Red Pill NFTs with. Red Pill Lions is coming up. Let's see what else is here. Casey Anthony. No, not Casey Anthony. Yeah. I'm wondering, you might as well go get Casey Anthony in here. Let me go and pull this guy out. There we go. Goodbye, fake Rollo. Fake Rollo, if you come in on like your regular proxy, I'll let you stick around because I'm right. I would be a fantastic, that kid would never forget that time, man. This is like a vacation. I will spoil Scarlett rotten. I promise you I'll spoil her rotten. Just bring her on by. You know where to find me. I don't know. I really wish I could tell you. Like, what's the deal? I know they've already been there. So I thought this was interesting because I have seen this sort of ramp up in Mikhaila's sort of rhetoric recently, and this was another great one here.
I think a lot of people are scared to have kids because they're told their life is going to end when they have kids. And it would be good for people to know that just make sure it doesn't end, right? And if you're a man and you're in a job you hate, but it's a little bit more stable and it pays a little bit more, and you're like, well, I have to because I have kids. If there's a chance that that's going to lead to resentment and anger, like, don't do that. It's less risky to do what you want. And if you're a mom, try and figure out how to keep the part of you alive that wants to do other things, because you don't have to be a good mom by spending all your time at home with your kids.
I tell you, sometimes I don't even have to do the work. It's not even going to be me talking about this because I'm just going to let Dad. Here's the lecture you didn't.
It's not the case. Dad. I don't know if I've seen a single woman who I didn't think had a psychological problem, who hadn't seriously flipped in their attitude towards the balance of family and career by the time they were 30. And then you see lots of women who at 40 haven't had kids and perhaps wanted to, and that's not a pleasant situation. I was talking to a woman who is about 39, a professional woman, attractive, well put together, competent, well educated, successful in her profession, unmarried, in a relationship with an older guy, but unmarried, and desperate to have a child. She said no one ever talked to her about the fact that she'd actually want to have a family or encouraged her to think about doing that. It was as if it wasn't within the realm of possibility that one of the things that she might have the ambition to do would be to be a mother. And that's just not acceptable. And it was like she woke up in her late 30s and thought, well, the first thing she thought was, this profession of mine is actually nowhere near as comprehensively fulfilling as the advertisements claimed, which is something that virtually everyone discovers as they move forward in their professional career.
What?
Really? The reason that you get paid generally for your work is because you're doing something that you wouldn't choose to do if you weren't being paid for it. And so the idea that your career is going to be the fundamental source of your fulfillment is true for a very tiny minority of people. And
such as?
And even with them, it's complicated. So she was tearful and upset about the fact that it took her so long to discover that there were other important dimensions to life. And that,
well, apparently there's really important dimensions to life in Miami this week. So just saying.
Motherhood turns out to be, well, how many things do you do in your life that are fundamental, right? Okay. You have a career.
Yes.
And your education. So that would be part of your career development. That's part of what makes you generally useful in society and perhaps a place that you find some meaning and purpose.
Arguable.
But you have your friends.
Yeah.
You have your family, like your parents and your siblings and so forth.
Yeah. Like
you have your kids. You have your relationship. That's it. There's four things.
Grandkids would be included.
Now, you can expand that to some degree. You can have, maybe you're creative and you make good use of your personal time. There's other factors that aren't trivial, but those four things are canonically important.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're very important. You don't want to be boring. You don't want a boring life, right?
You miss one of them, and you're going to pay for it. And so our society needs to rethink our relative valuation of career versus motherhood. So we don't know how to solve this problem, but we could at least have an intelligent discussion about it, and we could start by admitting that the idea that most 19-year-old women are fed, which is that their career will be the primary purpose of their life, is actually a lie.
Flawless victory.
There we go. Oh, well, there you have it. There you have it. So I'm out of this, man. I'm just going to let Peterson go after Peterson. All right. Peterson versus Peterson. What do I roll TOMASSI? You should stay out of this. This is a Peterson. Okay. I'll be happy to stay out of it. No problem. Here's another one. Let's throw this one out here. Peterson versus Peterson.
Okay. That's interesting. So I think one of the things I struggled with when I had Scarlett was my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So it was just my brother and I, but she stayed at home until I think we were in grade 7. And then she became a massage therapist, went to massage school like full time. But I think what happened to me was I was in university, I had Scarlett, and then I stayed home for a period of time, like when she was really, really little. And I felt guilty doing anything that seemed like it didn't have anything to do with her. So at that point, it was just like any type of writing or like blog stuff. I think I was just writing a blog at that point or working for my dad. I was like, and I think
clearly you needed a babysitter, right?
I think it was partly some people around me who were like, oh, you should be only staying at home. And then there were the other people who were like, you're wasting your life because you're only staying at home. But how do you have suggestions or anything for, I guess, mothers who are trying to figure out how much time they should be spending on themselves when they have little kids?
Yeah. And that's what, you mentioned that sketch I did about traditional mothers. And that was exactly the point.
This chick right here, I'm blocking her name right now, but she just did this interview on Mikhaila's channel. This woman is a mother of, I want to say 6, and she's like a stand-up comedian, and I don't remember her name. Somebody will give it to me real quick. It's the most recent one. Somebody pull that up for me in the chat, please, if you would. But I thought this was real interesting because this video right here is essentially catharsis, let's just say, for Mikhaila. There's a reason she's doing these videos more and more and more often.
That I was making in that sketch. So to give you a little bit of background to lead into my answer to what you just asked. So I had the benefit of, I guess it was about 15 years ago at this point, I interviewed some relatives of mine who were born in around like 1910, 1912, and they were in their late 90s at the time. And I just asked them about life. I didn't even know what I was getting at, but we did some video. We set up the old heavy camcorder and videoed this.
That's so
And
cool.
at the time I had just had a baby. And so I didn't intend for these to be interviews about motherhood, but I was so stressed out because my kid didn't sleep through the night and I just was really maxed out about it. So that's just where my mind went. And I ended up asking my grandfather and then his cousin and some of these other people I talked to, parenthood just kept coming up. And one of the things that was very clear to me, and keep in mind, these people, they were in their 20s in the 1920s and 30s. So they knew people as adults who lived in the 1800s. I mean, they were really connected to an old way of life. And one of the things they emphasized is how busy mothers were. I mean, when you think about it, I've been joking about this on my podcast. If your kids wanted chicken nuggets, any time before like the past 50 years, it was up to you to take it from chicken to nugget. That was all on you. And think about how time consuming that is. You're slaughtering animals. You're doing all that stuff to dress them. You're chopping it up. I mean, to just get dinner on the table was an hours long process. And so when you look at the history of humanity, when you look at human evolution, it simply could not be the case that human children have evolved to need their mother's attention for all or even 90 or even 80% of her waking hours.
I see. So a babysitter in another country in another city, it might as well be another country. So, but it's okay. Okay, fine. Let's go with Jen's. Let's go with Jen's advice here. Apparently that's it's all good in the hood then. If we're, we shouldn't stress out, right? It might be unethical to take advantage of your fame and celebrity status to find a babysitter. You won't be taking advantage from me. Come on, call me. You got my number, man. I'll take her. I'll take the kid. Right? Right? Come on. Work with me here. she's not wrong. I want to say this as well. You know, we talk about helicopter parenting and stuff like that. I actually talk about, people say, well, what does Rollo know about parenting? Dude. If you've read my third book, which is Positive Masculinity, that about 2/3 of that book is dedicated to parenting as a red pill, aware guy. However, she's not wrong in the sense that that kids were far more independent in the past than they are now. However, I think that that's shifting simply because we have tablet toddlers, right? Give them the iPad and let the kid play and keep it occupied while I go do other things. And when I brought up, here, let me take her out just for a second. When I brought up the kill to party dynamic way back in November, and I will return to that again at some point. I think people take that shit too literally. It's too in your face. It's too like if you say kill to party, people think you actually literally mean that. That's not what that means. It's just simply it's meant to be extreme. So you'll remember the alliteration, right? So you'll remember the phrase, and it's meant to really, I guess, define a dynamic. And that dynamic is this: as something you want to talk about, something that we see now in the 21st century and really kind of the latter half of the 20th century as well, is the kill to party dynamic. Now, I made the comparison, whatever. I used Casey Anthony and Mikhaila Peterson in the same video. Okay. Was I saying, well, one of these is just like the other? No, that's you're being like stupid and literal, right? So when I say kill to party, they think, oh, Rollo means they actually kill their kids to party. No, that's not what I mean. Right. I mean, in some cases it might be that might be the case, but in the most extreme Casey Anthony style cases, yes, it is. But that's not what I meant. And I stay, it's like people want to say, oh, you're backpedaling. No, go watch the video. That's exactly what I said and stated in that video. But people don't want to watch that because they only want to watch the 30-second clips because it's like, too long didn't read. But the fact of the matter is here it is again, black and white. Even Jen Fold, the comedian, is pretty much explaining the same thing. And we're seeing this, women, what was it? She had Rob Henderson on there not too long ago. And Rob Henderson is actually, I like Rob Henderson quite a bit. He's a doctoral candidate for, I don't know if it's evolutionary psychology, but certainly clinical psychology. And so he was just on her show. He's a good friends with Dr. Jordan Peterson. He's a good friend. He's a good dude. He makes the rounds right now. And he's very, I think for a younger guy, he's very well received, let's just say, in his own circles and outside them. And, so I'm listening to her talk, or both of them discuss, like dating and dark triad personalities and that kind of, and narcissism and all that stuff. But one of the things that Rob Henderson is known for is a principle, or I think this might be his doctoral thesis. It is the concept of luxury beliefs. And those luxury beliefs is in a nutshell, and I'm probably going to butcher this. Sorry, Rob. But in a nutshell, luxury beliefs are beliefs that certain generations, certainly the last two, maybe even the last four, can afford to have. So when we see, Rollo, what's all with these wokesies? What's up with all these progressives? What's up with all this liberal stuff? How come the ideologies that, political and ideological and whatever, how come they've divided so sharply? And I would point directly to the internet for that and the increased communication. But those belief sets that we consider extreme, or maybe even not all that extreme, are only available to us in this century because we can afford to have them and we can afford to keep them. So if you look at generations in the past and you say, well, they had different values. Well, yeah, they did, but they couldn't afford to have other values at that time. And they couldn't afford to think in terms of a woman being able to go on tour and have babies and request, just her general public, her fans, to babysit for her. And one of those luxury beliefs, if you're going to ask me, do I buy into that? Yeah, I think he's got a point. But it's interesting when we talk about how those luxury beliefs affect, like, say, cancel culture or wokesies, or maybe it's about your perspective on abortion. Maybe it's your perspective on, intersexual dynamics, and it kind of flows into my wheelhouse too. There are luxury beliefs that people have that are completely false are empirically provably false, but we still cling to them because we want them to be the defining aspect of this social order. We want everybody agrees with me, so I must be right and you must be wrong, even though the evidence and the data and everything else completely contradicts that. But you're wrong. Who hurt you? Mommy didn't love you enough. You know, what was her name? Why are you so bitter and abused, right? Why are you complaining? You're a man. You're not supposed to complain, right? You're supposed to believe in this luxury belief like the rest of us do. Well, one of those luxury beliefs is kill to party. And if you can afford to do that, and quite a few women do, if you can afford to do that, then that can be a luxury belief for you. And you can feel empowered as a result of that. When we talk about the feels before reals generation, when we talk about emotionalism, uber alles really, but you know, the sisterhood uber alles, or emotionalism before empiricism or rationality and reason. When we talk about emotion, that when emotion is making decisions for you, as opposed to thinking about stuff, educating yourself, learning about things, making educated decisions rather than emotional decisions. In this day and age, we're encouraged to do that. We've been encouraged to do that really since, like, I want to say the mid 60s. You could make the argument, you could even go back before that, but I would say certainly within the last 4 generations. And we listen to Jada Pinkett Smith, we listen to the rest of these girls who are just like, oh, it's all about how you feel inside, or how many movies have you seen where it's like, follow your heart, it will never lead you astray. Right? That's the popular narrative. Don't be judgmental. You know, I talked about that a million times. I think we need to be more judgmental, quite honestly, because it's not about being judgy. It's not about being judgmentalist. It's about discernment. It's about being wise, being a good steward of your money and your life, and who you're, and not just investing your finances, but who you're investing your life with and in. And does that person understand what it is that you like, why you are the way you are, right? When I see this.
So people freaking out about me posting about asking for a babysitter online. I talk to these people. I'm not a moron. I don't particularly like agencies. I don't like the people that agencies send over. I find that.
Well, the only reason she's able to do this is because she can afford to. She can afford to do that. There was a recent poll, and it was Fresh and Fit who put this on, and it was just on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. There was just a message they put up on their YouTube channel. It was a poll. It says, not a poll. They were just asking people for like questions to ask the girls on the show, which I thought was really good. And I think they said they're going to come up with like 20 of the best or 40 of the best. I'm not sure what the number is, but of like the highest, rated ones that were on there, and people are asking some pretty intelligent questions. I'm impressed. Bravo, Manosphere. There were some really good ones on there, at least the ones that were upvoted anyways. So I threw one out there, and this is the one that I always ask, and you probably know what I'm going to say, is when I am on Fresh and Fit and I'm doing the after hour show. And by the way, yes, I will be on Fresh and Fit on Wednesday. We got a full, I'll tell you about that here in just a second. I'll get into that. But to finish my thought here, I'm sitting there in damn near every after hour show, and I'm flanked by girls on either side of me. And my first thought now is, who has the kid? Which one has which one is the mommy? And if you go and you watch, I think it was when I was there in March. If you go and you look at the after hour show, I think it was the first or the second, probably the first one. When I was there was a young lady there, a very gorgeous looking black girl who's like about 21 years old. And she was like, I have a kid, a 1-year-old kid. And the next thing out of my mouth was, well, who's watching the kid? Who's the babysitter? Right. And, even when I was talking last week with Kevin and Rocky about the video, the Thot Mommies video, I mean, I think that is a seminal video or a seminal song for this era right now, because if on any show, there's likely going to be at least one and possibly more women on that show who have kids already. And it is not maddening, but it's just like, it's so dumbfounding to me. It's like, I don't want to say shocked, because I'm not shocked by it anymore. But like when I'm sitting there, and this is not a moralist thing. This is just like a logistical thing at this point, right? Like, how do you do this? How do you arrange this? Who is the one who's facilitating and enabling you as a 21-year-old single mother of a 1-year-old So that you're here, like, the Chris Rock joke at the very beginning of that song. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here at, 2:00 in the morning on a Wednesday night? And I thought that's brilliant, by the way, Kevin. Pulling that quote was absolutely a stroke of genius, because that's exactly what's going on. And not just in the clubs, on Fresh and Fit, on any other podcast for that matter too. Who's watching the kids? The only reason you're on that show is because either grandma's watching or mom's watching, or maybe your baby daddy is watching while you're there trying to put yourself out and promote yourself on Instagram and be a hot little thotty, right? Hot thotty. Again, this is not old man saying, oh, shame on you. I'm not saying that. How? And it's not even just her. It's the people who are enabling it and facilitating it too. It's mom, it's dad, it's the boyfriend, assuming the boyfriend's there with, babysitting his kid. Or it could be Mikhaila Peterson, who thinks nothing's wrong. To the letter, this is what I pointed out in the Kill to Party video, to the letter. And here we are. And again, so I'm, I take my victory lap. Okay, thanks. But I'm like this, when I see this, like, where'd it go? Hold on a second. Let me like this. I
found off of Instagram are really kind individuals once I find somebody. So you guys should calm down.
We should just all calm down. Everybody just chill the fuck out, right? What? And if I was Andre, I'd be like, bitch, what? What? That's my kid. That's my daughter. That's half of my DNA is in that human being right there. But she has the luxury of being able to, and certainly not the brilliance or the genius for this. Certainly not the mental capacity for that. But it's just to me, now here's why now I'm going to get serious. Okay. The reason this kind of rubs me the wrong way, I guess, is because when I had a daughter, that this thought would never have entered into my brain. It wouldn't even been an afterthought. Hey, I got an idea, honey. We're kind of saddled down with baby TOMASSI here, right? Why don't we go on social media and see if we can find somebody to watch the kid while we go off and go jet skiing in, Biscayne Bay? My wife would be like, the fuck are you talking about? What? To me, I understand you got, maybe Jen is right. You have to let the kids, especially boys, right? You got to let them scab their knee, right? You got to let them take a bruise. You got to let them fall off of a high chair or something like that. So they learn, they oh man, broken arm. That's, you don't want them to get seriously injured. I get it. But you got to let them play, right? It's like that. It's like hockey, right? It's the NHL. You got to let them play. You got to let them bump into each other. You got to let them do body checks. You got to let them do things. Yes, I get that, but we're not talking about. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about petitioning the larger global scope of things here. And I hate to even bring this up, but does she seem like she's a little bit lit in this one?
So people freaking out about me.
Like that right there. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys tell me if I'm wrong or I'm right. But it just blows me away. It blows me away that could even be a thing. Because I tell you what's funny is Jen, that girl Jen was talking about, back in the 1918 or whenever, I talked to these old people who said, we need to see if I can get that a little bit better. There we go. You got to let the kids go. They don't need mommy so much. It's well, yeah, you're right, but they still do. And they still need a 2-parent household, and they still need a strong, positive masculine influence to model the masculine and model the feminine. And, again, I'm not, she's a bad mother. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that there's a disconnect here. And to me, it's just blows me away, because there is no way on planet Earth I would have ever that wouldn't have entered my head space when my daughter was whatever, she 5, 6, something like that. She's 5. I don't know how old she is right now. What is this? Thanks, Anthony. Mikhaila Peterson always looks lit to me. She looks like Swiss Miss. Ladies, please don't do the lip implants. Stop it with that. Stop. Really. You can stop. Oh man, let me go back here. Oh man, thank you for that. Wow, that was very generous of you, Danielle. Rollo the Godfather, and for that reason, the respect his gangsta. Yeah, I got to give you this. But not as his age, but his wisdom he keeps talking about. Thank you very much for that. And you know what, Daniel, because you are so generous, I will make this announcement right now. The book is ready. And if you look at the description down there, I think put it the second link down there. The Rational Mail, the Player's Handbook, is now available for pre-order, and it's only KDP right now. It's only Kindle, but it will be available in print. I'm not going to tell you when, but I will announce it this week, possibly on Wednesday. So go watch the Fresh and Fit show when I am on there on Wednesday. I will definitely make the announcement as to when the print is going to be available. Kindle is up and on for pre-sale, and that's the link that you got right there. So it is done. It's ready to go. As far as Audible is concerned, you're probably looking at maybe another 2 months, maybe 3 months. I usually stagger the releases of the audio anyway. So that's coming up soon. I got that. And then, of course, the CME is coming up. That will be May. Well, I'll be there on May 16th, but it's like there's not a month that goes by up until July that I'm not in Miami. So I will be again in Miami for the CME. That will be I'll be there the 16th through the 23rd of Miami, but the CME itself is on the 19th through the 22nd. We have a all-star lineup for that. We have the names. We finally got the names. Donovan's got the names. Donovan, I know you. I think Donovan might even be watching today. Donovan's on. He's here in Reno. I'm going to see if I can go see him after the show if it's possible. I don't know what time I get out of here. But the CME, the Conference of Masculine Excellence, is coming up, and John from Modern Life Dating will be there all the way in from Japan. Troy Francis from the UK, as you already know, all these guys. So you got like 3/5 of Rule Zero right there. I'm pretty sure Paul Benjamin's going to show up. I don't know 100% just yet, but he will be there. Hotep Jesus is going to be there. Coach EO is going to be there. Lucario is going to be there. Donovan's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Who else is I'm trying to think of who else is on the list, but you just go check out the CME on Donovan's site and you'll get the whole thing. And by the way, if you want to go, you just hit that link right there and you'll get tickets on via my registration. Also, Charlie from Cultivate Crypto has his new crypto course coming out. I did a show last Friday about that. You can go check that out there. Also, if you want to get in on that course, just go look at that video. I'll put the link in the description later on for this one too. And then, of course, the Red Pill Lions NFT will be dropping. It will be minting on May 1st. So if you haven't had a chance to get on the Discord and get on the whitelist, you have to go through the Discord to get on the whitelist, and the Discord link is down below. So go check it out. Thank you very much for that very generous contribution, my friend. Just made my day. Okay, let's see. Keep cruising down here. So I'll catch up with these real quick. Hey, Rollo, in the 1970s, women who had 10 plus partners had similar divorce rates to virgins. However, this rate shot up by a huge amount in the following decades. Why do you think that is? Well, because first of all, it's it's access. Okay. You have to remember that. So I've answered this before. What changed in the 1970s? What changed from really 1965 up to 2022? What's changed? Well, we have hormonal birth control. We have this gradual shift in really cultural, the social fabric, let's just say. So you've got right after hormonal birth control, you get what? You get the free love movement, right? You get the hippies, you get Woodstock, you get the sexual revolution, and the skirts get shorter. And now we've got, Larry Flint doing Hustler, and it's not just about Playboy magazine anymore. Now it's Penthouse and Hustler, and now it's VHS. And you just see this gradual, sexual liberation. I think it's not a coincidence that the sexual liberation coincided with women moving into the workplace. Title IX, the Duluth model of feminism. You look at Roe v. Wade. If you look at no fault divorce, all of that is a cascade effect from one point in history, 1965-ish, 66, maybe, I don't know, whenever hormonal birth control became more widely available. And so as a result of that, then you see the cascade effects of that. And one of those cascade effects is what you were just talking about right here. Okay. So Women in the 1970s who had 10 plus partners had similar divorce rates. Yes, well, because you have to remember that right after the sexual revolution, right after the pill, you saw this sharp spike in divorce because of no fault divorce. And you also see a decline in marriage rates that have been steadily declining since then. You saw a really sharp spike in divorces right around 1970-ish to 78, maybe a 5 to 8 year stretch there. And then you see the divorce rate come down. And the reason it is because the marriage rate is also gradually coming down as well. So is it because of partners, or is it because of a social shift in legislation? Is it because of divorce rates? Is it because of what is it? So it's not like, I know what you want me to say. You want me to say, well, so maybe it's not that, women who have lots of partners, they can't pair bond or whatever I was talking about with, what's her face with, where'd she go? When I was talking about with Drew Afwalo, right? Well, you can make that case, but we never had the data to really connect those dots. Remember, it's correlation's not causation. I know that. But when you are looking at correlate data, whatever, you can't just look at one data point. You have to look how it correlates with other data points as well. So when I did the show with Myron, and when I've actually done shows in the past about why a woman's promiscuity matters, and people say, well, divorce is this and pair bonding is that. And it's like, what is pair bonding to human beings? You're not field mice. You're not, swans on the lake, or when men and women pair bond, or when we have a monogamous relationship, what does that look like? You have to take those correlates into consideration, let's just say. So my answer to that is, I think that the divorce rate shot up as a result of no fault divorce in the 70s. Now, that's because of a really kind of radical shift back then. The more important question is right now is, why does it track? Why does marital dissatisfaction track with promiscuity in women? And again, these are correlates now. So I'm not saying it's because of this, because women are loose and they just they're on Instagram, they got Tinder, they can just bang whoever they want. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying let's look at where the data points us. Plenty of whales live stream. All Thot Mommies. Yes, thank you, mister. Let's see. Oh yes, today's episode is brought to you by let's see. What else? Oh, there you are, Ted, or William Teller, new to your channel. And I'm so impressed with your depth of knowledge. So many great resources. Thank you. I try to stay on top of my game. I try to give you actual resources here and there. Okay, so that's that. I wanted to throw out a couple of other things here. Now, we'll come back to the Jen Weiler thing here in just a second, but I wanted to before I come back to that, I need to finish a kind of a thought here. Pun intended. When we're talking about the amount of investment that a woman has to make in her kids, remember the tiger moms? Remember the women who helicopter parents, right? There's a book out for everything. How to potty train your kids, how to do this, how to do that, blah, blah, blah. Get them into being, you want them to have these great, wonderful, childhoods, right? You want them to go to soccer practice and piano recital and this and this and this, and then you want to open them up to all these, these opportunities to sort of explore their talents and their skill sets and everything. That's a luxury belief, by the way. It's there was never no, it is not yet. Although I should make that. I wonder if I ran that by CJ, if he'd be okay with it. Hey, Rollo, modern women are sexually liberated. What strategy should men take, self-improvement, game, and wealth? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I wrote an entire book. And by the way, it is the most comprehensive book I've ever written. It is 500 pages, and it is called The Player's Handbook. And it is out and available, or it's available for pre-sale right now on Kindle, on Amazon. So go check it out. That will teach you everything. It will explain everything. I'm going to do once the book's dropped, I'm going to do a full dedicated video for it. Probably Sunday this week. I will probably this coming Sunday, when I do my Sunday podcast. By then, I'm sure the book will be down and ready to go. So I'll definitely be doing that. So There you go. Let's see. I think we'll do it. So anyways, the idea of, like, say, the tiger mom, or the woman that's overly invested or overly protective or overly, you got to be this, you got to do that, you got to be a mom, you got to do everything. Now, that her sentiment right there when she's talking about this, and I talked to these people back in 1918, that flies in the face of this right here.
Somebody clipped a part of one of my podcasts, I believe it was, where I was talking about what our society does to 19-year-old women, or 18-year-old women, 19-year-old women. We just lie to them all the time. The first lie is, there's nothing more important than your career, more or less by definition. So that's the first lie. The second lie is, there will be nothing more important to you in your life than your career. So that's the second lie. And then the third lie is, there should be nothing more important in your life than your career. So that's the third lie. And then implicit in that is the idea that children are a burden, and that the idea that women should have children is part of the oppressive patriarchy and should be resisted. And who are men to tell me what I can do with my body? And hey, fair enough. And et cetera, et cetera. Now, I've worked in female-dominated occupations my entire.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you go, let me pull this out real quick. Push me back. Thank you. Yeah, exactly, Dorian. I've made that observation, by the way. If you look at his outfit in this, that is specifically stylistically done for that. He wants to be remembered as a Sigmund Freud. He wants to be remembered as a Carl Jung. He wants to be remembered as a Abraham Maslow. That's what he's aiming for right here, and that is a tactical. Look. When I go on Adam, I probably will. When I go on Adam Sosnick's show on Thursday, watch this one. You're gonna love this show, by the way. But when I go on there, you'll notice that I'm wearing I'm in a different outfit, right? I try to dress for the occasion where I'm going. If I'm on Fresh and Fit and I'm doing a solo show, I might be in, because it's freezing there, I might be in a hoodie, or I might be in something that's, like more or less like this. If I go on the after hours show, then I show up like a rock star. If I go to PBD, I'm dressing differently. So there is a definite intended stylistic intent, let's just say, in all of this. And that is a very calculated look. So just say, you just happen to dress up looking exactly, this double-breasted suit looking just like Sigmund Freud. Trust me, that's the stylist. I don't know what stylist they have. By the way, if you're a Jordan stylist, I'd like to talk to you. Because I'll tell you right now, that was most definitely directed. But listen to what he was just saying. Okay. Those are like the three lies. Every one of those three lies is exactly what Mikhaila is embodying. And also those three lies, and I'll come back to that here in just a second, but that's exactly the conversation she's having with Jen Weiler here. And it's not that because I think on some level of consciousness, she understands what her father has been talking about really since 2017, because that first one I showed you a little while ago, the Think Good Thoughts or Think Good or whatever it was, that was from 2018. That wasn't like 2022. That wasn't recent. That was before he went to go do his detox. And he's got quite a few more of those going on, such as the one that I led off with here, this one.
All of the demographic evidence suggests that women have become increasingly unhappy since the early 1960s. So, cross-sectional studies continually conducted year after year show precisely that. And it could easily be because they're taking on more and more responsibility. You think, well, you have a career and it's fulfilling and all of that, but it's not just fulfilling. It's stressful and difficult. And if you have a career and a family, especially if you're a single mother, well, good luck to you, man. You're run off your feet nonstop, and you're a target for every predatory male in the neighborhood.
Now, what am I missing here, Dr. Peterson? What am I missing or Mikhaila? What am I missing here? Well, I'll tell you what I'm missing here. I'm missing the conversation that she's having with Jen Weiler here to sort of give her this sort of excuse to get her out of the decision that she's made. In fact, the fact that she's even offended that anybody would want to say, hey, wait a minute, you might not want to petition all of your Instagram followers to be a babysitter for your kid. Where does that even enter into the equation in all of that? Where? Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks, Kevin. But where does that even enter in the equation? I mean, this is your, I mean, how often do you have to hear your dad say the same thing over and over and over again? But yet and I think she knows this. And that's why she goes and says, well, you know, this is going to be very unpopular, but I need somebody to come and watch Scarlett while I go run off at 30 years old so that I can go and like pursue my career. Now, she was also talking, I think it was like last July when when I was doing the Kill to Party episode, I was sort of quote mining videos she had done. And then one of them was, of course, you know, I forget the guy's name, but he was saying something to the effect of like, was Scarlett a mistake? And she's like, yes, that definitely was a mistake. And again, you can go look at that video and see exactly what the conversation was about. But I was looking at that, and then he said something like, well, do you plan on having other kids in the future? She's like, oh yeah, I want to have like 5 kids, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And then of course she decides that she wants to be a Christian. And then of course she decides that she wants to, divorce Andre. And now of course we find out that the whole reason for that, or the impetus behind that, is because she's with this other guy. I forget, Jordan something or other, like the guy who's her new fiance. I don't know if they're married or not yet, but I'm like, and this, by the way, her fiance is like 23 and she's like 30. So there's like a 7-year difference between these two. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, if he's going to be her husband, what does he have to say about this? I mean, if he is the stepdad, what does he have to say about it? At 23, you better jump. You're jump in the fire, my friend, because that's where you are. And you need to get that chicken pocket, especially with the kid that had you like, when does he step in and go, that's not a good idea, honey? At what point? Because she doesn't need a husband. She doesn't need a father. She doesn't want any of that. She doesn't want a kid. She just wants to be single. This is exactly what I said in Kill the Party. Exactly. Scarlett is a hindrance to moving forward, to doing whatever the hell it is she's doing in Miami. I got no clue. Is she there with her dad? Is she on tour with him still? I got no clue. Nobody else has any clue. But her Instagram followers have a clue. And what planet is this a good idea? I just, you guys, you tell me, man. I just work here. So when I'm seeing this, like when I look at this stuff,
because the work of survival was very, very time consuming for our female ancestors. And that's the principle that I've always used in my home. Of course, your kids need to be your priority, and they need your attention, and they need focused attention. But this is not all day, every day. It couldn't be, because that's what I said in that sketch that you saw, tradition. Okay.
Well, if that's the case, if you want to say that your responsibility level as a mom is this, then at what point is career above that level or below, for that matter? What comes first, your career or your kids? When you go and you look at Tinder right now, and you see a woman who's got like 3 kids, or maybe just not even 3, she's got 1 kid. What's the first thing on her profile? I have a kid. I'm a single mom. I'm 29, single mom. My kid comes first. If that's a problem, swipe left. She's she's preempting it. I only want guys who are cool with single mommies. That's essentially what that profile is saying right there. I have a kid, and you got to be good. My kid has to be number 1 in my life. All right. Now, whether that's true or that's not, the fact that they're putting it in the Tinder profile means that there's this sort of zeitgeist, right? There's this common knowledge amongst our, net culture that that's the way it ought to be. And so, okay. So if that's the case, at what point is kid number 1 and career number 2? At what point is kid number 1 and going on Fresh and Fit number 2? At what point is kid number 1 and you being in the club at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday night? At what point? Like, tell me where that is. Because right now, you want to know, like, people keep saying, well, what's wrong with the generation, Rollo? The kids are all criminals, and they don't know if they're boys or girls, and blah, blah, blah. I will tell you this. I'm not saying this is the only thing contributing to it, but this is most definitely a contributing factor. The fact that mommy wants to have this, Kill the Party by inch or by mile. Okay. It's an order of degree. I'm not saying like she's actually going to pull a Casey Anthony and put the kid in the trunk and kill the kid. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Kill the Party is not just that. It's not that. That's the most extreme, like the most extreme example of it. Okay. But when I'm talking about Kill the Party, I'm saying at what point is the kid being inconvenient to you being active on the sexual marketplace? because you said, okay, well, I'm going to have the kid. And but now I'm, I maybe even the father in this case, Andre probably would have loved to stay married and wanted to keep going. He seemed like he was very, dedicated into it and loyal. I don't know what the situation is, but I do know that I see more pictures of Scarlett on his Instagram than I do on Mikhaila's. So I can only go by visuals, by what you're prioritizing as being important. And that kid is not important. Not in the sense that it's she's an accessory. She's only important when you want to appeal to single mommies. She's only important when you want to have Jen Weiler on here. That's when she's important. That you might say, well, that's just you think so? Well, let me hold on. Whoa. You think so? That's a straw man, though. I've never argued the kids. I was only pointing out something that should be obvious. Okay. Well, whatever. I'm trying to stay on top of the chat at the same time here. So at what point does career? Because they're saying career. And I want to make a very important distinction here. I probably should have said this in the beginning. They're talking about career. Career is this, career is that, right? Well, my kids are the most important thing in my life until I got to go do a stand-up comedy act, until I got to write a book, until I've got to go on tour with my dad and ride his coattails because, you don't know when this train's gonna end. So that's one. Number two is this. Okay, if that's the case, at what point does kid become number two and the sexual marketplace become number one? At what point are you going to put off your motherly duties, whatever, for your responsibilities to that child who you want to say in all public as publicly as possible is your number one priority in life? Okay, until you go on Fresh and Fit, until you go to the club, until you want to show up in your bikini outfit and you want to go to a yacht party, until you got to go and ask mom or ask grandma or ask some beta male orbiter to watch your kid. Or maybe you're just going to go petition your people, your friends and family or whatever on Instagram. Or maybe even you go to Rollo TOMASSI and you go, Rollo, here's that kid. Okay, I'll be happy to take care of your kid. Right? At what point? At what point you go, you know what? This is so here's the quandary for Mikhaila. I'm joking here. But at what point, like when does it become a point of desperation where you're like, maybe I'll take him up on that. Maybe I'll actually take him up on that, right? At what point is it like, well, my career ambitions and my desire to be in the sexual marketplace or whatever else, doesn't the new guy, doesn't the fiance, doesn't he have like brothers and stuff? Because he looks like he has a big Christian family from like Texas or some shit like that, right? Well, his stepmom's not cool with Scarlett. The mom and the dad, they're not cool with that. Like, well, you've got an extended family of people who would be probably happy to fly out to Miami and hang out with you and watch the kid while you're doing whatever the fuck you're doing. At what point? At what point does being on the sexual marketplace supersede your responsibilities as a mother? At what point does your quote unquote career, because that's where this is going. Well, you don't want to live a boring life. Well, guess what? You've got a kid. Okay. I'm not saying you have to live a boring life, but you might have to ratchet it down a little bit because your responsibilities to that child should be number one. Should be. Okay. And well, that's unfair because I'm a female and you're a male. Yeah. Yes, it is. You're 100% right. Because for men to be men, they have to create more resources than we expend. And you know what we do with that excess resource? We give it to our kids. And we give it to our wives, and we try to support and sustain a family, an extended family, and a tribe, and everything else. Yes, you're goddamn right. We do. Well, more access to do things. Well, welcome to a planet Earth. Welcome to the way it's been for a very long time. And I will tell you this: that when men talk about single mothers and I think it's Rich Cooper is probably the best known for this, was, stay away from single mothers, right? That's a red flag. If she's on Tinder or whatever, and she says, I'm breaking up with my man but I got a kid and my kid's number one. If that's a problem, swipe left. Okay. Well, that's a single mom. And you should take her advice, swipe left or whatever it is. Yeah. Get rid of her. Go move on to the next one. Because that's indicative of a woman who is placing, because the very fact that she's on Tinder in the first place, that is a woman who is placing her desire to be in the sexual marketplace above being a mother. Well, that's not fair. She's still got to go find a chick. Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm about to ruin your day. Here we go. This is Rob Henderson. Half of unmarried new parents in, okay, this is from an Atlantic article on this. There's a study. I'll give you the link if you want to see it. Half of unmarried new parents in a new relationship by the time that child starts kindergarten. Half of unmarried new parents are in a new relationship by the time that child starts kindergarten. These parents are engaged in the intense emotional work of building a new adult relationship at a time when their children may need them the most. That, Mikhaila, is your good friend, Rob Henderson. He's just laying out the facts right there. Right? Let's look at that last line. These parents are engaged in the intense emotional work of building a new adult relationship at a time when their children may need them the most. Got it? Like I don't have a doctorate. I don't have a doctorate in psychology. I got a bachelor's. And I understand child psychology 101, because you have to take that as part of your core work, right? Children at that age, when they're 5 years old, they're little sponges. Any psychologist worth their salt will tell you exactly the same thing. That's when a personality is developing. That's when that child from like 5 to like 9, I think is the thing. And those children don't have the capacity for abstract thinking at that time. So they're looking at what's going on around them, and they're sort of picking up on things at that time. That's exactly what he's talking about. That's your friend. That's the guy you just had on your show. I don't have to do anything. I don't even have to do this show. All I got to do, I could just shut the hell up, right? And just give you video after video and and show point counterpoint. Or I can show you Rob Henderson, or I can show you, but this is actually it, this from the Jen Fulwiler thing, right? How to raise healthy kids without sacrificing your career goals. Sorry, but you're going to have to sacrifice your career goals, because you are the vulnerable sex. You are the mother. You are the one who is the nurturer. You are the sex that 87% of the time is going to get legal custody just because you have a vagina. So yes, you're goddamn right. Where is it? There it is.
You're goddamn right.
Goddamn right. You're going to have to make sacrifices. Men have to make sacrifices too. I'll tell you what kills me is when I see these guys like, I think it was Hafiz or somebody, your good friend Hafiz, right? Talking about how men need to be married because then they're more responsible and they need to make the sacrifices necessary, because if they get married and they take on more masculine responsibility, then they will, they'll be better human beings. They'll be better. We need fathers, we need involved fathers. We need husbands. We need, it's like this call to old school, salt of the earth, masculine husbandry, I guess, right? And as a result of that, we're saying, well, men need to take more responsibility because we need them to be we need to be involved. And I'm not saying that, and I agree. I 100% agree. But we don't say the same thing to her. We don't say the same thing to mothers. We don't say the same thing to the 21-year-old girl whose mom or grandmother or whoever is watching the kid while they're on Fresh and Fit. And this is no hit against Fresh and Fit. I'm talking about the girls that are on there. And again, I think we need to be discerning. We need to be judgmental. We need to actually, at the very least, we need to be aware of it. Even if I don't like jump on top of a girl and say, hey, look, you should be home with your kid. I'm not going to do that. But I do want the audience to be aware of what's going on. Why not? Why shouldn't they be? Because if that's the case, and you're going to say, well, men need to be more involved in their kids' lives. What about this? What about women? Nobody says that. They'll say it about that. They'll say about the guy. Oh, deadbeat dads. We don't have a deadbeat moms. We don't have a Thot Mommies in the club. Not yet. Not yet anyways. We don't have that's not popularized. But we look at men, we say, well, you're not taking responsibility. Well, because women have a 100% authority. And so when I see stuff like this, and it's like, well, how to be a good mom, how to raise healthy kids without sacrificing your career goals. Okay. Apparently that flies in the face of exactly what your dad's been talking about for ages.
I worked as a daycare worker way back when that was like 1980, something like that. And there were no men doing that, but I really liked kids, and so that was fun. And I worked for social services in Alberta in the childcare department, and then I've been working as a psychologist, either training or as a psychologist since then, and that's been a female-dominated enterprise increasingly as the years went by. But even when I first entered it, so I'm in the post-female in the workplace generation firmly. I never experienced the world except as that, and so I've watched women progress through their professional careers at every level of attainment, from the lowest to the highest, and observed what happened, and relatively, I would say, bias-free, because I didn't know. And what I've seen is that as women progress towards their late 20s, there's a psychological transformation, and what happens is that they place less emphasis on their career and way more emphasis, particularly on having a child. And that really reaches a crisis point around 29 or 30 for the vast majority of women, and their attitude flips. And I've seen it flip very dramatically with many women. And I suppose the exception single most convincing evidence of that, I worked with high-end lawyers in Toronto for about 10 years. I was part of an organization. We went to law firms, high-end law firms, and said, send us your most productive people, and we'll help them iron out whatever wrinkles there might still be in their life. And the advantage to them is that things will go better for them, and the advantage to you is they'll be even more productive. And there's a good management dictum, which is pay the most attention to your most productive people, because they're bringing in the bulk of your revenue disproportionately. And so I worked with men and women who were at the peak of their careers in a very difficult enterprise. And so these were women who were generally very attractive, well put together physically, pretty stable psychologically, extremely conscientious, very, very smart, and high achieving from like junior high all the way through high school, university, law school, onto the top firms, rocketing up through the ranks.
Okay, I wanted to stop it right there because I'm going to finish off the rest of this. This is, by the way, this is on Chris Williamson's. And Chris Williamson, I'm happy to, am I being gleeful? Sorry. But I'm happy to talk to you about this anytime you'd like. Yeah, call me. So I want to push that out of there, because what he's also describing here is something that I've talked about before, which is women are becoming the men that they want to marry. Which is another reason why I don't think this like 23-year-old like boy toy that she thinks she's going to marry. I don't know. Is she married to him now? I'm not really sure. I know that there was supposed to be some sort of like fiance. I think they announced the engagement, but they haven't said anything about like where they're going, what they're doing. Dude, back up now. If this isn't a red flag, like looking for just random ass people on Instagram to watch your kid in Miami, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I really don't. So, anyways, I wanted to point out the fact that he's just talking about like careerism. And this is a common theme that has been in the red pill for a long time. I can remember having conversations with Royce back in 2009 about the quote unquote rampant careerism in women. And now we see it come to sort of like fruition, I think, in 2022, actually probably before that, but like certainly by the time he was talking about it, like in 2018. This, by the way, the Chris Williamson thing is recent. I think it's like this year, as a matter of fact. But he's talking about, these women who go and they build themselves up. And I see this all the time. You've heard me talk about this with Robert Kiyosaki. You've heard me talk about this in the past. They build themselves up to the point where it's like they went to college. They did everything that the narrative of female empowerment told them to do. Similar with what's going on here, I think, with Mikhaila as well. I'll go to college. I'll go get a high-powered career in a law firm. I'll go, make X amount of dollars. I'm making more than any man is, and they do that through their 20s, whatever, to do whatever it takes, right? You're a woman of the future. Thoroughly modern Millie, right? That's what you are. And then you get to be 30, or that he's just saying this just a second ago. It's like you get to be 30 some odd years old and they can't find a guy, or they have the kid. They did find the guy and they're trying to make it work in some way, but that now they realize that they want the kid. Now they realize, oh, now I want a child. Now I want to be a mom. And I think what's kind of ironic about this is that this doesn't describe Mikhaila, because now she was a mom. She's doing it in the opposite way, right? She was a mom, and now she suddenly, thinks that she's going to be she's going to be the heir apparent, right, of Jordan Peterson. Because Jordan's not going to do this forever. If you saw the PBD podcast, when he was on there, he was saying, this is probably going to be the last tour I do, and then I might write a book, and I might be saying like something like he wanted to play music. I'm like, oh, good, good for you. Go enjoy your money and enjoy your life, right? But Mikhaila, that's not enough for Mikhaila. Mikhaila's got to have her podcast, and she's got to have this, and I don't know whatever the hell she's going to do, but I do know this is that she's got to ride the Peterson train until it ends, and this is part of that. So that's why she's got to find somebody. She needs she's going to need a babysitter. She needs somebody to watch the kid, because the kid is an obstacle. The kid is a hindrance to her career, whatever that ends up being. So it's kind of like she's done the opposite. She's had the kid and now she wants the career, rather than having the career and then having the kid and going, this isn't what I want. I really want to be a mom at 33 and not a high-powered attorney anymore. And what Jordan is going to say here in just a minute here is that's a big problem for companies and corporations who are like, okay, well, we need to get more like female hires in here because we need to have some sort of quota. And then, but to accommodate that, we've got to give them pregnancy leave, or we've got to give them childcare, or we've got to give them a benefit of freezing their eggs, or whatever it is that still facilitates the fantasy. But the fantasy is the result of a price that they're paying by trying to live like the man that they want to marry. By turning themselves into the man that they want to marry, there is a cost associated with that. And that cost is usually children. Ergo, kill to party. Ergo, I need to find a man, but I'm a doctor, and now I forget the name of that chick who's on. Somebody sent me the link. She's a pretty good looking blonde chick for I think she's like early to mid 30s, and she's a doctor, and her entire existence on Instagram, and I don't know what her name is. Somebody will give it to me, I'm sure, at some point. But her entire existence is like justifying her decisions to be single and a doctor or whatever, no kids. And she's got, a dog or a cat, a little dog or cats or whatever. And she's like, I'm just happy being single. And she's just reinforcing this narrative that is this bullshit narrative that Mikhaila Peterson is doing sort of retroactively. And this woman is doing proactively. It's still the same fallout. It's still trying to find catharsis and absolution of that lifestyle, because they can't go back. They can't turn back. It's like Kate Bollock and the spinster thing, right? And if you know Kate Bollock, she wrote this book called Spinster, and she basically built a brand and an identity on being the unmarried woman at 40 some odd years old. And, she's writing books about, how fulfilling it is to be what a quote unquote spinster. And that was the title of her book. And the thing is like, she's a victim of her own success, because she can't beat Kate Bollock if she gets married. She can't do that anymore. If she's not a spinster, how's she going to make money? It's the same thing here. Only we're doing it with Mikhaila, we're doing it retroactively with I forget that surgeon lady's name, the blonde chick. But it's like all this is reinforcing a narrative that is damaging to women. And God bless him. Jordan's trying to throw out the warning. He's been trying to throw out the warning sign for a long time now. And his daughter is actively thwarting all of those warnings that he's been putting out since 2017. Seriously. And I'm sorry, but it looks bad. It's killed a party for sure, but it also looks just freaking awful. Like, I'm going to go and try to find a babysitter just randomly on Instagram while I happen to be visiting in Miami until Saturday. That's why, honestly, I'm half serious. I'll take the kid. I'll take Scarlett, and I'll watch Scarlett for you, at least until I have to go to my shows, but I'll watch Scarlett for you, just so she doesn't fall into the hands of some kidnapping. You know how much that kid would be worth? If I went, yeah, sure, come on, let me have Scarlett. I'll be happy to take care of her for you. Yeah, you want her back? That's going to be $10 million in crypto. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying maybe that's Hollywood, right? But think about this shit, man. What kind of parent are you? I've been a parent for soon to be 24 years. There's no way in hell I would do something like that. So you want to talk about red flags? That's a red flag, Jordan. Would you say, I don't think it's entirely impossible for a woman to have a career and a family at the same time. It helps if to have a man to shoulder the load. Yeah, if the guy wants to be a stay-at-home husband, sure. Because what you've done is you've swapped roles. The woman is the breadwinner and she's the masculine influence, and you are now the feminine influence because you're taking up the position of nurturer at that point. You know, whatever, if that's a choice you decide. I don't think too many guys set out to be a house husband. Like, oh, I've always just wanted to be a house husband. They kind of fall into that role. They don't actually plan to be a house husband. What was this? I think Mikhaila was talking about the negative feedback loop that having a bad diet and being overweight create. Rogan was basically saying, well, if you don't need to white knuckle your way through it, because yeah. And then she's still trying to front for the what is it? The carnivore diet, all meat diet. One of two, I have started pursuing my career goals since I found you and other red pill guys on YouTube. I wish I have y'all before I got married. Yeah, well, that's why I wrote preventive medicine, so you would have me before. Them sapiens all over it today, man. What's up, girly? Talk about a woman who's changed herself. Let's keep going. Oh, Paul. The Washington Post, April 8th, 2022 said reported gestational diabetes. You again? Really, dude? Here you go. That's you. Here you go.
You're goddamn right.
All right. Thanks for the gestational diabetes message for your $1.99. Timaeus, thanks for that $10, my friend. And let's see. I think I've caught up. So, okay. So there's that. Let's just, let me push this back up here again and we'll.
Full partnership by the time they were 29 or 30. And all the law firms, all the women bailed out, all of them. The law firms couldn't keep them. And I was really, and I talked to the women a lot about this because I was very interested in it, because I knew the law firms were bending themselves over backwards and tying themselves into knots trying to retain these women, because why wouldn't they? You know, just being greedy capitalists is enough. You know, they don't want to lose their high-performing women because they're performing at the highest level, and they couldn't keep them. The women wanted to have.
They're there because they're quota hires, is what they are. It's not so much about performance. It's not. I mean, maybe they're great. Who knows, right? It's not about performance. It's about the fact that those companies, and particularly in California, by the way, those companies have prerequisites placed on them so that they can do business in the states that they're in, right? Whether it's the attorneys or whatever the hell you want to call it. They're there because they are quota hires. They have to fund. It's not, I mean, maybe they're good, as I said, but let's cut the bullshit here.
Women. And I suppose the most single, most convincing evidence of that, I worked with high-end lawyers in Toronto, high achieving from like junior high all the way through high school, university, law school, onto the top firms, rocketing up through the ranks, full partnership by the time they were 29 or 30. Partnership, but that's sort of an apogee, right? You hit partnership in a senior law firm, it's like you're at the top of your profession. Well, then what? Well, so then they looked around and they thought, here I am with all these like hyper competitive men, perfectly willing to work 80 hours a week nonstop to stay at the top. What the hell are they doing? Because that's the real question. What is it that characterizes this small percentage of hyper competitive men? It's not. You can assume that that's how everyone should be, but first of all, that isn't how everyone is. Or you can flip that and say, well, there's only a small minority of human beings that are willing to do this, to work flat out 8 hours a week. I mean, they're certainly being paid for it. Let's make no mistake about that. But well, what about the rest of life? Well, that's what the women asked. Why am I doing this? And that's a great question. Well, for men, there's a different answer than for women. It's a really different answer. And it isn't like the men are exactly thinking this through. It's more like this is an integral part of male motivation. The more successful you are as a man, the more women like you.
But the problem that you have now is that as women are getting better educated, with more employment, more status, more prestige, they compete themselves out of their ability to find an attractive mate. As women raise up through the dominance hierarchy. And this is
competence hierarchy.
Yeah, I tell you what's funny is like there was one of these shows where Chris was on here, was talking about like, oh, I don't know if I want to have Rollo on here. He sounds like he's gleeful, and it sounds like it's truthful anger. That same bullshit line as I always hear, right? I keep getting that same one over and over again. But yet he quotes the same. I mean, he basically paraphrased right there exactly everything I've ever said. I've said this before. Women turn themselves into the men that they want to be or that they want to get with, right? Well, Jordan says it. Rob Henderson says it. David Buss says it. Anyway, Rollo Tomassi says it. No, not that. Fuck that guy. Whatever.
It's hierarchy. Sorry.
Okay.
Who's going to tell women the equal access to opportunity that you have recently just acquired? Actually, what that's doing is it's making it more difficult for you to find a mate that you're fundamentally attracted to.
Yeah. Well, it.
Now, before he answers this, does that at all sound like what I've said in the past, where I'm like, for a woman, like when women come to me and they say, well, how do I get a guy, Rollo? I've done everything by the book. I did everything that I was told to do to be a high-powered alpha female. I got the degree. I made partner in the law firm. I got, make lots of money. I got, all my education's on par, and I can't find that guy. Remember when I did the Steve Harvey episode? And the lady's there. It's like, I'm 36 years old and I got my own business. And here's my mom. And she really wants grandchildren and blah, blah, blah. And I really am waiting and praying that God will just put that man right on my doorstep and we can just go off into, perpetuity together. Right. And I've had that conversation with lots and lots of women. And they say, well, what do I do, Rollo? How do I do? I say, well, you have to feminize yourself. Well, how do I do that? Well, get in touch with your feminine side. And you've got to, present yourself as being female rather than being male or masculine. Right. And so for me to say, fem it up, right? That sounds like dumb yourself down. And that's exactly what Rob is saying, or Chris is saying right here. Exactly, to the letter. And he's about to answer this right here. And this is interesting.
It does a lot of things. I mean, it does provide women with a lot more opportunity on the economic front. It does decrease their dependency on their mate in relationship to economic security. And educating women, countries that are willing to educate women, that's the best predictor of their future economic success.
False. That is the best predictor of a declining fertility rate, Jordan. People will say, well, their GDP goes up if you put women into the workplace. Yeah, initially, when you first do that, when you say, you know what, ladies, we're removing we're removing the glass ceiling. Yeah, initially it does. But that GDP is not sustainable because the fertility rate over the course of 4 or 5 decades plummets to below replacement levels. That is the real fallout of exactly what he's talking about here.
So if you look at developing countries and you want to find out what about a developing country is most likely to predict the fact that they will continue to thrive economically, it's their attitude towards the education of women. And a couple more things. Women's educational status predicts their children's educational status, but men's educational status doesn't. So that's also an important multi-generational effect. I released a video. I was going to conclude that other story. I released a video, or someone released a clip of me talking about some of the things we just talked about. And it went out on YouTube Shorts, and it's got like 5 million views in a month or something like that. And the comment section is unbelievably vitriolic. Mm-hmm. Every single comment is vitriolic, and it's all from women. It's like, who is this old white bastard telling us what we should do with our bodies? And I wasn't being judgmental. I was just saying exactly what I said to you, which is...
Actually, you were being judgmental, and it's okay. Call it judgmental. Do so. Embrace the judginess. Seriously, we need more judgmentalism. We need people to call women to the carpet, hold people's feet to the fire, rub their noses in it, Jordan. Call it what it is and embrace it and love it and live in it. It is judgmentalism, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, I've watched women over the entire course of my life with, I would say, an affectionate eye. You know, I love my sister, I love my wife, I have a daughter, I love my mother. I'm pretty happy about women, all things considered. I don't have an axe to grind in relationship to how they should conduct their lives. I don't even know how they should conduct their lives. I've watched what happens.
I do.
And I've also watched what happens to women who hit 29 or 30 and then can't conceive. And that is not fate I would wish on anyone. It's awful. And 30% of couples fall into that. 30% of couples have difficulty conceiving. It's a lot. And the probability that you'll have difficulty conceiving increases with age.
Right.
And so, you know, c'est la vie.
Judgy. Wow. Chris Williamson, does that sound gleeful? Because I've said exactly the same thing. Oh, I don't like your delivery.
It's very interesting to me to see how vitriolic those comments have been and how uniform that is, because usually on my YouTube channel in particular, 95% of the comments are positive. And this is completely the opposite of that. So you brought this up at the beginning. You said 50% of women now at 30.
50.1 are childless by 30.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, well, there's a stat you don't include when you're talking about putting women into the workforce and GDP and all that great and all the good news about, the GDP is going to go up if we put more women in the workforce. And yet we have now a countervailing data point that Chris just laid on us here, right? 30, past 30, they don't have kids.
That's not good. That's a sign of something profoundly wrong with the entire culture at an extremely deep level.
Not the culture. It's empowerment. It's fempowerment that we've been doing for almost 60 years now.
I don't think that women need to take it as us trying to tell women what they should or shouldn't do, but I think that it would be very fair to say that you need to be an incredibly unique woman to make it to 50 without a family.
Unique. How nice of you. That didn't sound gleeful. That sounded just like I would expect a proper Australian to say it, right? What I think is funny is like they both refuse. Actually, listen to this. I'm just going to back it up. Just a kiss. I'm going to kiss it here. Watch this.
A unique woman to make it. I think that women need to take it as us trying to tell women what they should or shouldn't do.
Okay. No, Chris. We should tell women what they should and shouldn't do, because clearly they need to hear it. Clearly, if men are going to take authority, and I've said this about it, here we go. I've said this 100 different times in 100 different ways. Responsibility without authority is slavery. Women have 100% authority and 0% of responsibility. Clearly, we can see that even in Mikhaila's like, I'm just going to look for people online to watch my kid, right? You want to talk about irresponsible? That's irresponsible. Absolutely, that's irresponsible. So nobody calls that out. If I go and I say, you are insane I will tell you right now, Mikhaila, you are insane. Bring the kid to me. I'll watch the kid for you. Make sure nothing bad happens to her. That is insane. But if I say that, it sounds like I'm telling her what she should and she shouldn't do. No, her dad should tell her what she should and shouldn't do. That conversation should have happened when she was 9 fucking years old and continue to 29 years old and continue past that. If my daughter decided that, remember when I was doing the show on the Tinder swindler, and it was like, red meat, right? It was so salacious and everything else. But you know what? There would be no Tinder swindler if a dad or a brother or a nephew or a strong, positive, masculine guy stepped in there with some authority and said, no, you are not going on that private jet with that guy. He's a scam artist. This doesn't smell right. I'm stepping in. I'm going to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. And in this case, you shouldn't get on that fucking jet. And after 2 loans you've taken out for this guy, not to mention 9. Imagine a dude comes in and says, your dad, her brother, or somebody who gives a rat's ass, some guy who has the cojones to step in and say, I'm going to take some masculine authority. And I'm going to tell you, no, you are not getting this loan for this guy. You're already $30,000 in hock for this dude. That's insane. No one is going to say that's insane. No one is going to say to Mikhaila Peterson what you should and shouldn't do. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And somebody needs to come in and tell her that and take some masculine authority over that. There's clearly no girl is going to do that. No, she's not listening to anyone else. Jordan, if you're like whatever your name is, you're Fuller, Jordan Fuller, right? You're the fiance. Tell her what the fuck to do. Tell her. No, this is stupid. Are you out of your fucking mind? That's the conversation that needs to happen. Well, that sounds judgy. God forbid we would tell women what they can and cannot do. Why not? They tell men what they can and cannot do all the time. Men will tell men what they can and cannot do all the time. Well, again, there's a separate standard of justice for men and for women. There's also a separate standard of discernment and judgmentalism and, assuming and taking over authority. God, very few men of the last, like, say, 3 or 4 generations would want to step in and say, unless they're very authoritarian, or I would do the same thing for my own daughter. If Mikhaila was my daughter, I would say the same damn thing. I would say, look, you're not doing that. What are you, out of your fucking mind? You're petitioning people online for this? I don't want to use an agency. Well, then fine. You're going to go get somebody who gives a shit. Bring her to me, right? If that's where you're at, where is that judgment? Where is that discernment? That's what needs to happen. Men say, well, how do I take authority back, Rollo? You start by holding women accountable, not absolving them of their bad decisions. It's all we've done for the last 60 years. Why do we have no fault divorce? Why do we have, on-demand abortion? Why do we have Duluth model of feminism? Why are we where we're at right now? Well, guys will tell me this all the time. Well, if men were better men, then women would shape up. Yeah, until men try to be better men, until men step in and try to be authoritarian or authoritative at least, and say, no, you're not flying off to Bulgaria with this guy in his private jet. No, you're not going to go and petition people on Instagram to come and watch my granddaughter. No, you're not going to do that. I'm going to step in here, and you're making a bad, stupid decision. And let me explain to you in no uncertain terms why it's a stupid decision. No, I'm not going to have that conversation, because that would be stepping in and trying to tell women what they can and can't do. Fuck you. It's important that you do step in and tell them what they can and can't do, because there are downstream effects from those bad decisions. So if you had stepped in at an earlier time in that time stream, you wouldn't be feeling those effects, such as the kid getting kidnapped, or mom and dad, having to pay the bill for taking out loans to pay off the Tinder swindler. Right? Or that chick in Bad Vegan, right? Her dad's paying off her debt. And she's like $6.1 million in the hole, and she didn't pay anything of that. Other people did. But if somebody stepped in and said, you're not seeing this dude anymore. Are you out of your mind? This guy's an idiot. He's insane. Nobody wanted to step in and do that. But you know who's paying the price? The people who should have said something in the beginning. Those people are paying the price, because it was the cascade effect on the way down. So when we talk about like this is I don't think people really grasp this. When we talk about like Fresh and Fit, and these girls are ratchet hoes, and we bring them on and we hold their feet to the fire and we hold women accountable. And that's like this new like template for a successful podcast. But the thing is that's only the first step. That's only the first thing, is making people aware of this. Guys have to actually step in and go, you know what? Like if I go on there and I say, there's this 21-year-old girl sitting next to me. She's like, oh yeah, I got a kid. I got a 1-year-old kid. Who's watching him? Am I being a dick by saying that? I am being a dick by saying that. I'm saying, well, who's watching the kid? Oh, mom, big ups to mom. Shout out to mom, right? That doesn't make for a really good podcast, because it sounds judgmental. It sounds discerning. It sounds like somebody's going in there and like calling her out on her bullshit. Or maybe the guy's at home watching the kid too. Who knows? But just me asking that kills the conversation. It's like, it's all fun and games until you say, who's watching your kid right now? Dead silent crickets, oh, sorry, man, you're a buzzkill. Yeah, I am a buzzkill. But that's the next step. It's not just about holding women accountable. It's also making women think about the consequences of their actions, and who's facilitating their ability to go and party, right? While they take the responsibility. And that's the kill part of kill the party, right? And I'm not saying kill, right? Grandma watching the kid, that's the kill part. The party part is where you're out there just living it up in Miami and doing whatever you're going to do. You have to be authoritative. You have to step in. You have to have the ball. People told me this all the time. They say, well, men need to be better men. Well, okay. Part of that means you have to have the balls to go in and say, no. Well, how dare you? How dare you tell me I can't do something myself? Well, do you want me to be, you're the one that told me that men need to be more responsible and men need to take over the situation, and then women will be better, right? Well, you have to have the balls to actually want to do that in the first place. What'd you put here? Thanks for everything. I know you hear it a lot, but you saved my life from getting married to a bad woman at 18. Oh, good. Side question. Do you think a long-term relationship can ever work? Yes, of course. Absolutely, I do. In spite of what DJ Academics would like you to think about me. Go look that one up. I'm not even going to get into that today. It's like, you know what? If you're going to come at me, at least come correct. At least like pretend like you've read my stuff and you know what I've been talking about for the last, 20 years. You know, you were 11 years old when I started this. You know what? Do me the solid. Do me the courtesy of at least knowing what you're talking about before you come at me. That's all I'm going to say. Soralita is because you are more direct, Rollo. We love it here. But others want to use a page and remove shame on it. You don't a paragraph, and we get it. Okay, good. I'm glad. Thank you, Soralita. Soralita, you got to roll your R's. Rollo cares about her daughter more than Mikhaila. Yes, I just give and give and give. I mean, I'm trying to make a point. Don't get me wrong, right? You want me to watch your kid? I'll be happy to watch your kid. We'll go, let's see, the place I'm staying. I'm not going to say where I'm at, but the place I'm staying has a pretty nice pool. I'll take her fishing. I'll teach your kid how to fish. I don't know if she's old enough to do that yet, though. I'll teach your kid how to fish. Yeah. Scarlett comes back with this big old mahi. Where'd you go? I went fishing. You said fun activities. That's a Rollo fun activity. Sorry. I know how to enjoy myself. Just ask Justin Waller and Sterling Cooper. There you go. Oh, thank you, Soralita. Okay, I'm going to pull that out. Let me put this. I'm going to finish the rest of this because this is too good not to. Here.
But I think that it would be very fair to say that you need to be an incredibly unique woman to make it to 50 without a family and look back and think, yeah, I did this right. That's not to say that those women aren't out there. They absolutely are. I know some of them. What's happening, Pete?
Yeah, very rarely. I know some of them. It's NAWALT, right? I wish I had that. I don't have that. I don't have the thing, but like, the bell curve, like not all women are like that. NAWALT. It's like this big bell curve. And it's like, just because you know somebody at the either end of the bell curve doesn't mean like everything in between doesn't exist. It's absolutely ludicrous. I think I put that one in there as well. I'll pull that one out.
Others were busy. And so if you are busy doing you're writing a book, that's similar to your ancestors who were busy going slaughtering animals, like getting them ready for cooking.
Yeah.
No, it's not. In fact, that is completely false. Going and slaughtering animals, and that's a whole lot different than a luxury activity, a luxury belief that when you're ignoring the kid. Now, that's not what she's talking about. What she's talking about is I'm more important than my kids. That's what it is. My book, my happiness, my career, my going to Miami and doing whatever the fuck she's doing in Miami. That's more important than my kid. That's not what's going on here, right? When you have to slaughter the animals and skin them, and you're, living in hunter-gatherer tribes in the, the sub-Saharan Africa. That's where the apples and oranges, dear. Very much so, apples and oranges.
The work you're doing is different, but the time commitment is about the same.
Okay, that's interesting. I guess some people, I think this was an incorrect way of the way I was thinking about it, but it was because it didn't have anything to do, it was work, but it wasn't work for the kids. So if you're like trying to survive and chopping wood and slaughtering chickens, then it's like, okay, that's directly for the family. But I know I certainly felt better when I had time put aside for work, because I'm very, work oriented. It fulfills me. You find a project to work on and it's great. Right. Yeah. So it was tricky though. I definitely had a hard time being like, no, even though I'm doing something that isn't related to that, it's okay That was like deeply ingrained in me as the wrong thing to do.
Yep. And I think we all struggle with that there, of course, there is a question of, okay, I don't have to write this book the way my great grandmother had to wash the clothes because everyone only had 3 pairs of clothes. But to me, it seems like I don't think it matters as much to your children what work you're doing. I think it just feels natural that, mom has stuff going on. And for our ancestors, that might have been washing clothes out on the washboard. For us, it might be writing. But I don't think that it matters to the children as long as they know that that they are your priorities. Certainly.
You want to talk about we used to talk about this back in the old days, right? The hamster, the rationalization hamster. If you've read my first book, you'll understand what I'm talking about, like caffeinating the hamster. These are some very caffeinated hamsters right here. It's like, how can we rationalize away our innate drive as women to want to have what is it? The maternal instinct. How do we rationalize that away? Because we've had kids, but we don't want people to think that we're horrible mothers because I have a podcast. Who's watching the kid while she's doing the podcast with this chick right now? Right? At just the act of doing this means that she's not with the kid. Who's watching who's watching your kid? Who's watching your kid, Mikhaila? Who? When you're doing each one of these, who's watching the kid? It's not just, I'm going to write a book in my spare time. I might take a few hours away from my kid. No, we're talking about your entire lifestyle is your kid is an inconvenience to your lifestyle. This is not about I can still be a good mom and still be a professional and do all the things that I want to do. And I can still raise a really great kid as a result of that. Yeah, but that's apples and oranges. That's not like, what, like she said, chopping chickens' heads off or doing domestic duties and stuff like that. That's not what this is. Those are necessary for survival in the old days. We're talking about you're doing this 24/7. We're talking about, the kid is with Andre or whatever. We're talking about the point where it's such an inconvenience to your lifestyle that you will petition people on Instagram because you don't have anybody to watch Scarlett. Now we've crossed a line. Now we're somewhere else. We're not here. We're not with, you can still you write a book. Yeah, well, but at least you're there for emergencies, right? At least you're there and you're available and just in case things happen, right? At least you're not going, here's the thing. Okay, what if, I love how everything is cast in this positive thing. Oh, I'm working on my career or whatever. Okay, well, that's one thing. What if you're in the clubs? Is that more important? What if you're on Fresh and Fit? What if you're a single mom doing something else? What if you're doing a podcast? Is that so important with this chick right here that's what you do? Right? Maybe it is, but you're only making my point when I talk about, kill the party. The child is an inconvenience to you. Exactly what I was talking about. So who's watching the kid when you're doing the podcast? Who's watching? It's not just writing a book. Who's watching the kid when you're on the plane flying from Tennessee to Miami? Who's watching the kid when you're, doing talks, when you're going to Nashville and on stage? It's this constant thing. It's one thing to say, well, I'm taking just time away for myself. Well, that sounds positive. But when it's a constant thing, to the point where you're looking for people outside to help you out, essentially what you're doing is you're asking people to pay your debt. It's no different. By the way, when you go and you're saying, oh, I'm going to go on Instagram and see if I can find somebody who can watch Scarlett while I am in Miami doing whatever the fuck I'm doing, right? That is exactly the same thing as a woman who went on Tinder Swindler and they're doing a Kickstarter or whatever it is, a GoFundMe thing to pay off the debts that they incurred themselves by taking out those loans to give to the Tinder Swindler guy. You're asking people, in fact, she is literally crowdsourcing childcare because she wants to be absolved of the responsibility of having to have that kid as a 100% responsibility all the time. And we pay for it. And God forbid we even God forbid we say something like this. Where is it? Because she gets all indignant as a result. It might be unethical. No, it's insane. it might be unethical to take advantage of your fame and celebrity status to find a babysitter. No, it might be unsafe to do that. You're right. I'm asking her to hire the nearest. She's even snotty and like and arrogant and full. Like to agree and amplify, right? You're right. I'm asking to hire the nearest serial killer without paying them so I can take advantage of them and put Scarlett in harm's way. Like she's indignant. Like that sounds like she's drunk, quite honestly. But like that sounds like she's indignant about the whole thing. How dare you tell me what I can and can't do? That's exactly what Chris Williamson was talking about just a little while ago. So now, not only is she saying, yeah, I'm going to crowdsource my childcare, but I'm going to do, if you have a problem with that, I'm going to get snotty with you. How dare you tell me I can and can't, what I can and can't do? Well, dad should have told you that, or you should have listened to dad and you should have took that to heart at that time. Your dad is talking, you're fine. Honestly, I'm wondering what happened, to be honest, but that's what it is. It's the same impetus. I keep saying this all the time. It's like people will ask me, well, Rollo, don't you think that, women should have the right to vote? Don't you think that women should be empowered? Don't you think that women should be able to do what they want to do? And my answer is always the same thing. Like, wouldn't you tell your daughter? Wouldn't you try to tell her to not to, do what you want to, keep her under your thumb and keep your, iron fist kind of thing? No, not at all. And that's why I laugh when people say, oh, hold Rollo, we need to repeal the 19th. I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. Not because I don't think it's a good idea. It's just because I think it's untenable. I don't think you're going to do that right now. And it's not going to make any difference at this stage anyways. It might've made in the past, it might have, but not now. But so when you get to that point, it's like people will say, well, Rollo, don't you believe in, would you want your daughter to be, don't you want her to make her own free choices and everything? Yeah. But I would also expect her to pay the price for bad decisions, as well as enjoy the benefits of good decisions. Okay. And I'll be the first one to say that's a bad idea. And that's a good idea because I'm her parent still. Like people think, oh, well, after 18, then I'm free and clear. No, you're not. Your kid is your kid for the rest of your life. Don't give me that bullshit. Oh, I only have to deal with it for 18 years. No, you have to deal with it for, 90 years, however old you are when you croak, right? And again, you still need to be the father and you still need to impart wisdom, whether it is to your child or your grandchildren or whatever else. But I'm not in favor of like disempowering women. What I am in favor of is holding women accountable and responsible for their decisions. So when a woman says, oh, well, I've got a kid, but I need to crowdsource, some childcare, I'm going to be the first one to step in and say, no, you're not. And I'm also going to say that's a very bad idea. And if you think that's judgmental, well, I'll be judgmental then if it means that it's going to, forestall disaster. You're not crowdsourcing for, your bad decisions. Those bad decisions in the Tinder swindler case was that and the bad vegan is they incurred a lot of debt and a lot of money and other people paid the price for that. And including to the point where they're like saying, oh, well, let's make a GoFundMe and see if we can alleviate some of this debt. If I was you, I wouldn't even dream of paying and giving those women any money. But the dynamic is this, is like women think that that's a good idea. They think they're entitled to that. They think, oh, well, I made bad decisions. Maybe we can get everybody to help us out with a GoFundMe. Maybe I can get people to help me out on Instagram because I don't have any childcare while I'm in Miami. Are you insane? Again, I don't mind that she has the power to do whatever the hell she wants to do. I just expect you to pay the price for it when you make bad decisions. You're held accountable. You are liable for those things. And that's where the rubber meets the road for me, as far as I'm concerned. What is this? Appreciate you. Let's see. I'm trying to get unplugged now, understanding why the ex left years ago. She did the same thing for years, putting kids off to her family to party even 8 years ago. Yeah. Well, they've been doing it for a long time. I mean, it's not something that, again, luxury beliefs. When I was talking about Rob Henderson stuff, it's nothing new. These are nothing new whatsoever. Oh, I got the biblical thing. Want me to read the King James Version? What is this, Ephesians? All right, I'll do this just for you. This is a one-time shot. Sam Botta threw this at me. He said, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that might be the sanctity, that he might be the sanctity and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might be present. Oh, sorry. Here we go. There you go. Yes. There's your biblical red pill for the day. I'm going to take this out. I've had enough of the rationalization hamster here, so we'll get rid of that. All right. Let's keep going down here. I tell you what's going to happen. You want to know what's going to happen after all of this? I'll tell you. I got to you already. And what else is down here? Oh, Carlos, thank you for that 1995. Okay.
Kowalski analysis.
Have you ever mentioned or read anything by Edward Dutton? He has an interesting theory that relates very much to the red pill. I'm specifically referring to his book, Witches, Feminism, and the Fall of the West. I think I might have come across that when I was doing research for my book, Religion, my fourth book, Religion. When I was, especially the parts where I was talking about the goddess movement and the one world syncretic religion too. I think I might have, I don't think I quoted him, but I do remember his name. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Hey, Rollo, a little off topic, but when it comes to muscles, money, and game and fame, you recommend that men should start with muscles. Yes. But is it okay to start with money first? Yeah, at the same time. I mean, you can't live. Maybe you can. You can't just exactly live in the gym, but maybe you can. Yeah. Well, it depends on what you are aiming for as far as money is concerned. Usually, we say muscles is the beginning point, because for the most part, guys. I mean, statistically speaking, we're just hedging our bets, right? I mean, statistically speaking, 75% of guys are overweight. And 35% of them are morbidly obese. So it's a pretty good bet that you probably need to get your fat ass in the gym. Now, if that's not the case, then maybe you want to focus on money. That's fine. Just keep up your muscle side of thing. But remember, it's the holy trifecta, right? Money, muscles, and game. So don't neglect one to the exception of the others. I think that's probably the better policy right there. CT says, my church's pastor addressed the decline in masculinity. I see this happening quite a bit, by the way, and I'm getting quoted once again, and I think it's going to be in the Epic Times. We're talking about Christianity and feminism, but I see a lot of I think certain churches are starting to wake up to this, but I don't know how they're going to implement change. But my church pastor addressed the decline in masculinity and male churchgoers. Of course, the prescription was just man up, responsibility, no authority. Yes. Now, CT, when you hear that, when people say, well, what can we do, Rollo? Here's what you can do. You bring that up to your pastor. Say and I expect people to do this because I will do this myself every time somebody says this. They will say, well, Rollo, men need to man up because if they did, then it would solve all the world's problems. And what is it? Strong men create good times and good time create weak men and weak men create bad times. Bad time creates strong men and so on and so on and so on and so on, which I think is horseshit. But even if, let's just pretend it's true for a moment here, okay? If that's the case, then the guys who are going to be the strong men need to assume the authority in order for them to create the good times in the first place. If your trip is we need to save the West, well, your quest to save the West should begin with masculine empowerment and authority. And any guy that is standing there going, well, men just need to take more responsibility, all they are looking for is more slaves for the plantation. They want more guys to come back around and facilitate women's realities. They want guys who will do exactly what Chris Williamson just said here. Oh, we don't want to tell them what they should do or where they should go or what, we wouldn't want to do something like that. Well, if that's the case, your message is this: be a better slave, be a better slaver, right? Because if you can't tell them what to do and what not to do, if you are too scared, and I'm not saying they're going to even do what you said. I'm just saying you don't have the balls to even step up and go, no, the power of no. If you can't do that, if your pastor can't do that, leave that church and go somewhere else. But make sure you have that message right on their table before you do. Because no one will remember that. No one will come into that. You cannot expect men to be responsible if they do not have the authority to affect that responsibility in the first place. You want to know why men don't want to get married? Because there's no commensurate authority. There's no reward. Well, men get to have sex. No, let's go look at the sexlessness rates. But even if that's the truth, the fact is they're trading sex for authority. And you know what happens then? You know who we call those guys? Pussy beggars. Simps. You're trading sex for authority. I'll give you anything. Here you go, baby. Your responsibility is to be a pay pig and, make it rain, right? You got to get your simp token. There's no authority in that. You're basically trading your masculine sexual authority for easy sex, whether that's, with your OnlyFans girl, or that's the woman that your church said you need to marry this, man up and marry this bitch, right? That same thing is just by order of degree. You're just giving up your authority as a guy. So, reassuming and realigning that authority, I think, is probably the number one message that most guys need to hear right now, particularly in traditional conservatism, who we would think, right? They're the head of the household. I just read the scripture, Ephesians, right? How do I get to, this is too good. Let me just grab that. Wives, submit to yourself to your own husbands. No, women don't want to submit. Are you kidding? Guys today wouldn't even want to read that. The pastors don't want to read that. Submit to your husband. Submit. Well, Chris Williamson just told me that. I don't want to tell them what they can and can't do. No, you're supposed to. That's masculine authority. Because if you don't, you get Tinder swindler. You get bad vegan. You get Mikhaila Peterson. God knows what's going to be the downstream effects of that decision. The decision to have, some Instagram guy come and watch your kid or girl, whatever. I'll go watch you. I think what she's hoping is this is just me spitballing here, but I think what she's hoping is there's going to be some fangirl who's going to go, I would love to watch her for you. And she's like, okay, here you go. I'm off to do this. And she's just going to trust some chick. And I think what she's doing, she's hoping some fangirl is going to come along and just be the perfect nanny for her. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe something will be good happen out of a bad decision. Sometimes it happens. Very rarely. Let's see. The Black Blur. Answer for your question to who's watching the kid shot in the dark. Maybe Scarlett is watching herself and becoming a latchkey kid. I was a latchkey kid myself, actually, in the 80s, but that was a different time. And I was raised by a single father, not a single mom. So more or less. Honestly, I think I kind of raised myself. With Chris, I like this. Okay, wait. No, that's too good. That's too good. You get one of these for that name. The Guatemalan nanny is raising the kid, inculcating her values, and the kid will pair bond with more with the nanny than the mom. This is as nature intended. Alpha. Yes. No, but you do get points for that name. I like that. Let's see what else. I'm going to run through these and then I'm going to go. Well said, Rollo. 100% agree. Hold women accountable, but don't force them into anything else. I think they should be able to have their own choices. I just think they need to be held accountable for those choices, and they need to be told no, right? If they're making a bad decision and I can step in and I have the authority to say so. No, you're not going to do that. I'm going to do that because I know what the downstream effects are going to be. It's like saying, I'm a man and I know better than you that this is a bad decision. I'm your dad and I know better than you that this is a bad decision. It's funny how we will accept, if it was her mom and her mom came in and said, honey, no, you're not doing that. That's crazy. You're stupid. Don't even, how are you even thinking about this? That will be a different dynamic than a father who comes in and says, no, you're not doing that. Oh, daddy, I love him. Right. But guess what? The family avoids the downstream effects of that woman's or that daughter's, whatever, bad decisions. Oh, that's so domineering. Oh, you're oppressing her. Oh, it's masculine patriarchy. Yeah. You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right. It is
goddamn right.
And it should be. You need to step in and take control and say, you know what? That's a bad decision. You do what you're going to do. You're an adult, but I'm going to tell you that that's a bad decision. And I am not going to help you out if the shit hits the fan. I love the streams. Keep up the great work. I will do my best. There's one. Wait. Okay. Mexi Maiko. Rollo, what is your estimate time till she pulls the Tomi Lahren? I think she kind of already has, and starts shaming guys for not manning up or lack of attractive. Well, she's got her boy toy. Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't want to make predictions. I really don't, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'll probably be kicking myself for this later, but I was right about Kill the Party. So I think the situation with this kid, Jordan or whatever, I think it's going to get to the point where he's going to say, this is a bad idea. I hope he does. See, the problem is I don't know how naive this guy is. And I don't know how, how big a fanboy he is of her dad or her or whatever else, but they're supposed to be getting married and she's like really into him, but I don't know. From the body language I see in the pictures, I'm not really 100% sure of that. So you might be right. But for her to have that Tomi Lahren moment would mean that she would have to actually become single again, because that's what really prompted Tommy. And now remember, Tomi Lahren, not Tomi Lahren. Tomi Lahren, she was 28 when that happened, when her moment happened. Okay. Also, crowdsourcing. It's crowdsourcing. Sounds like student bailout. Yes. Crowdsourcing. It's the royal way. Let's see. I think that is it. Now, before I go, I think
I found off of Instagram are really kind individuals once I find somebody. So you guys should calm down.
You should all calm down. Don't forget famous last words. I'm going to hang on to that video, these videos here, by the way, so we can review them later on. Trust me. Again, I hate to keep coming back to this shit. All right. I'm not like trying to defend myself here. I'm just trying to point out the fact that I was right. Okay. I hate being right all the time. I know you guys laugh when I say that, but I hate being right all the time. This is it. And, I ate a lot of shit when I came at her she was on Fresh and Fit, and I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. I just kind of backed off of it, the whole thing. I let her go talk about whatever the fuck she wants to talk about. But then when I see stuff like this, I'm like, this is not only bad advice, this is dangerous advice. And remember what I said about the downstream effects. It's not just her family. It's us. It's anybody watching this. It's what she expects that people are going to interpret what her message is or listen to her and go, oh yeah, she's right. We should just, chill the fuck out. Okay. But the problem is that when fangirls watch her, or they watch that video or whatever, and she's reinforcing this message, which is, like I said, completely counter to what her dad has been talking about for the last probably 8 years. Like, we'll talk to your daughter, right? I don't know. Now, I was going to show this. I don't know if I should, but I will. Last but not least, because people are going to ask me about this. And I think, where did it go? No, not that one. Is this it? Okay. I apologize in advance for showing you this video. I really do.
Who made that? Let me see. Click on it. Oh, hold on. Chloe, look at this. What? Let me see.
I can put a pillow in a chair.
Chloe, come here. I feel like you're the only one that would understand. Okay, I'm coming. I'm not sure what this means. This is a character on Roblox, what it says. What? I know, that's why I said. No, it was an inappropriate thing that popped up on his Roblox about me. Say was on Roblox yesterday, and a thing popped up, and he started laughing, and I was like, Mommy, look, and it was a picture of my cry face, and it was a game that someone made of Roblox, and it said Kim's new sex tape when you clicked on it. Thank God he can't read yet.
What did I just tell you? What were we just talking about just a minute ago? Downstream effects, liability and accountability. One way or another, karma, whatever. If you don't know what that is, that's Kim Kardashian. Apparently, her kid found a picture of, or somebody like embedded a link to her sex tape or sex video, whatever, in Roblox. You guys, you understand what Roblox is, right? It's the video game thing, or the game platform. I don't say platform, but you can like create your own thing. Roblox. Go look it up. Okay. Anyways, the kid finds this, clicks on it, sees the sex tape, and and that's that. I don't think that's appropriate. Well, digital footprints. Remember what I said about not being held accountable. Now, what would have happened if somebody said, no, we're not going to do a sex tape, honey. No, we're not going to put that up there. No, we're not going to do this. Maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe I should tell you what you can and can't do. And I don't want to have this out there because, who knows in the future who's going to see this? Like, remember Selena Powell or whatever? She wanted to get off Instagram or get off OnlyFans, and she wanted to have all her videos erased and everything else. That made big news, right? Oh, yeah. I tell you what's funny is when women want absolution for their bad decision making, they can turn that into a publicity stunt. So like when the girls in, Tinder swindler or bad vegan, or even this right here, that makes Twitter, that goes viral because, oh, look, she's embarrassed. Her kid found her sex tape. Oh, I can't believe it. Just because it's Kim Kardashian, right? Like, yeah, your digital footprint will catch up with you sooner or later, ladies. But if I say that, I'm being gleeful. It's truthful anger, or that Rollo guy is just so angry. Well, dad is always going to sound angry when he's telling you you're fucking things up. Dad is always going to sound angry when he says, that's a bad idea and I don't want you to do that. Dad's mad. Yeah, mad that you thought that was a good idea in the first place. That's the downstream. You want to talk about downstream effect? Guess what? Kim Kardashian's kid is now a victim of the downstream effect of her decisions. Thank you very much. Try the veal. Dang it. Kim K over here normalizing mommy 304. Yeah, right. What next? Remember I told you about, was it tablet toddlers? Lana Rhodes teaching young women how to be high value gals, alpha women, or that victim sarcasm of Mia Khalifa. Right. Well, so where's Jen Weiler in all this? Where's Mikhaila in all of this? Right. Maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. Well, she doesn't have a sex, not that we know of. She doesn't have a sex tape. Well, of course. But guess what? At some point along the way, somewhere, I'm not saying it doesn't even have to be sexual. Like your digital footprint and things that you've done are going to come back to you. The difference between men and women is men are held responsible for those things and women are not held responsible for those things. I just proved it to you a second ago. We cry along with Kim Kardashian for the decision she made that somebody should have said no. Now your kid's paying the price for it. Oh, thank God he can't read. Yet, what happens when that kid is 10, 12, 16? Like how much more shit is going to be out there by the time he's 16, right? Government public school has dumbed down everyone so much that things you talk about seem profound to people and not common sense. Read Dumbing Us Down by Gatto. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, and I have said boomer alert. Thank you. No, I'm not a boomer. I'm actually Gen X. What is nothing going to happen to kid that they're billionaires? You think? Well, we'll see. We'll see. You know what can happen? The kid finds your sex tape. Your kid finds your old OnlyFans on Wayback Machine or his friends do. And then they show the kid. Remember, there's nothing you put online is ever forgotten. Like the internet never forgets. People have very short attention spans, but the internet never forgets. So keep that in mind. Yes, I'm Gen X. Thank you very much. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Except for Aaron Clary. Don't have anything to do with him. He doesn't know who Heather Thomas is. If he did, then he would still have his Gen X card. I snatched it from him because he doesn't know who Heather Thomas is. Piece of ass. All right. I think that's it for today. I do want to throw out a couple of things here. Here's the announcements here at the end. Okay. So the announcements are this. One, the book 5 is on Amazon right now in Kindle format only. It will be print, but there's a reason I'm staggering the releases. And you know what the reasons are, because if I don't, and if I do it all at once, then suddenly everybody's going to throw shade at me, or they're going to review spam me. If you are upset by my staggering the releases here, you can go and take that up with all the people at 21 Studios. They're the source of your anger, not me. So anyways, I will be releasing the book very soon. Do watch Fresh and Fit on Wednesday. It's going to be a very interesting episode. In fact, I'm specifically flying out there to do this one show. We're going to be talking about predatory women, dangerous women, and we're also going to be with a specific focus on the case between the guy, the black dude who was the influencer, and he's got a name that's really difficult for me to pronounce, and then the blonde girl that I was talking about on Donovan's show not too long ago. And Technical, hey Technical, how are you? Yeah, I also know that you're kind of hanging out, or it's interesting to see your tweets here, or your tweets, your super chats here, and then also what you super chat on Lead Attorney. I got you, man.
Gotcha, bitch.
That's at least you're spreading it, right? At least you're spreading the love, right? But anyways, I will be doing a show with Myron, and Myron and I are doing our homework for this one. So it's going to be sort of domestic violence or whatever, but also sort of we're updating it for the digital age, especially for influencers, and, never put your dick in crazy kind of thing. But it's going to be I think it's going to be a more comprehensive show than really we've done in a while. Every time I go out there and Myron hits me up for a specific show, he says, hey, can you come out here? I really want to do this show. I want to hit on this. There's been a lot of developments in that. Technically it's a murder case now. So manslaughter. The psycho chick who was like 24, 25, something like that. She stabbed the guy once, but she hit him in the shoulder here. And I would argue like he bled out from one stab to the shoulder. And my wife, being a medical professional, said that could happen. He could bleed out because she could have got his, clavial artery. I think is it clavian artery, subclavian artery. So that's a possibility. I don't know exactly why, but they said she only stabbed him once, but all the blood that's all over her was most likely because she hit the artery. So dude bled out, guy's dead. And now she has not been charged with anything. She played the self-defense card, and she played the cute, rich white girl card. And so we're going to be talking about that. And that is going to be for a very intense episode, which I believe we're going to do. I think it's like midday, or no, it'll be a standalone show on Wednesday on Fresh and Fit with myself and Fresh and Myra. We'll be talking about that. And of course, when I'm there, I'll probably go do an after hour show as well. That'll be on Wednesday. On Thursday, I am also scheduled now for going on Adam Sosnick's show. Once again, the Sauce Cast. I will be on there with a woman by the name of, what is her name? I happen to have it right here. And her name is Coco Beauty, Cornelia Slunjeski. I hope I'm saying the name right. She is she bills herself. Oh, here, she's in Miami, and she says, helping women to raise their standards, beauty, lifestyle, and dating. So she's a female dating coach. And let's see if I can find it. Oh, here it is, her website. Coco Beauty, and she is a dating coach of some sort. She looks like she's a little older. Here, I'll put it. You guys want to see what this chick looks like? Here, hang on one second. I will be going head to head with this girl in. Let's see where to go. Here it is. If you want to go, I'm putting it in the chat right now. You can go up to her website and have a look at this girl. Actually, let me just put her on screen here. So I'm going to be, I don't know if it's always a debate with me, right? But I'm going to be on there talking with Adam and this girl, and I think maybe one other girl as well. So let me put this on the screen here. It's a Chrome tab. Here she is. Here you go. This is the girl I'll be doing. This is the girl I'll be debating, I guess. I don't know if debate is really the word. Coco Butte. John the Big Butte. What'd you say? Thank you. Well, I'm the only one going into battle for you guys with Coco Butte. You thought Torsia was something? Here we go. How old do you think this girl is? Somebody put it in the chat. How old do you think this woman is? Let me, here, I'll scroll down a little bit more. She's got, oh, damn it. Here, push this up a little bit. So this is from her blog. Apparently she gets college and like lip fillers, as you might guess. She looks a little older to me. I could be wrong. Oh, here we go. Much better. High maintenance gray. Oh, she's even got merch. All right. This is her merch. Talk about brand, man. It's all brand management today. Stay in touch with Coco. Coco. We'll just call her Coco. How's that? It's probably something else, but that seems like a, what's her portfolio? Well, you got to see her portfolio, right? Let's go look at the portfolio. Is this her? So not only is she a dating coach, she's also a model, or was a model, and apparently is still now. I don't know what the hell this is. Anyways, so that's the girl this girl right here. How old do you think she is? Somebody tell me. How old? Let's take bets. How old do you think this girl is? Somebody will put it in there. How old? 37? Somebody's looking at 29, 35, post-wall. 40 plus. I'm going to go with 40 plus. I'm going to, 38. How's that? Somewhere around there. 39, 20, 30, 33, 47, 45. Not older than 47, right? Okay. Oh, okay. Stop it, Sammy. Stop it. That was too good. That was the laugh I needed today. CJ says 54. I don't think she's 54. She's not 54. I'm 54. She is not 54. Let's see. Cougar girl. I don't know. She's all right. She's clearly, I don't, do you think she's married? Do you think she has a boyfriend? Remember we talking about what downstream effects? Here we go. This is downstream effects for you right now. All right. That's enough of that. Anyways, so I'm going to be on Cougar Town. I'm going to be on Saucecast once again, and I'll try to find out at least Adam gave me the link this time, but I will try to find out like how old she is and what her whole story is about. I don't know why this is going to be a funny thing, but anyways. So that is that. Again, if you have not already done so, I'm going to put this up on screen too here. Wait a minute. There we go. And let's see if I can just scroll. I don't want you to have to see all that other stuff, but here we go. In case you were wondering, yes, it is true. The Rational Male, the fifth and final, I should say, edition of the Rational Male series is now available for pre-sale right here. And that is the cover of the book. I'll show you. You'll when I do the full breakdown of the book, you'll understand why I put that cover on there. That is the artwork, by the way, on the cover of this. I've never used artwork on any of my other than the faux leather look. I've never used any artwork on mine, and this is being the last edition of the Rational Male. I felt like I wanted to put something a little more dynamic on it, especially for this topic. And so this is now available for pre-sale right now. So it's not, you'll get it. The pre-sale is for, I think, Thursday. So you can pick it up Thursday. The print copy, depending on what the approval is, will most likely be Thursday too, if I can make it Thursday. But again, I'm trying to stagger the releases here. Also, Audible will be incoming probably within the next couple of months. So I would say probably by like June, the Audible will be ready to go. So that's what's going on. You guys can have a look at that. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I like the cover a lot. I think it pops this time. So So that there you have it. That's your sneak peek. If you are on my mailing list, if you are on my Rational Mail, MAIL, or you are a Patreon subscriber, you will already have gotten the link. So you can go ahead and get it there. Or since you have followed me all the way to the end here and you are not trying to sell hot cam girls on my chat, you can also click on the link right here. Also, don't forget, get on the Discord for Red Pill Lions. Go to Charlie from Charlie Cultivate Crypto. I should put the link in there. I'll put the link in the description later on. If you want to join that class, that's great. CME, by the way, coming up too. That is already there, ready to go. And then the new book, lots and lots. It's a very exciting time, my friends. Lots and lots of things going on. And I'm also got a special project that is coming up that I am going to announce either on Fresh and Fit. Well, probably I'll announce it on Fresh and Fit. I've got another secret project, a special project that I'm working on, and I'll make that announcement on Fresh and Fit because they're my boys. And then probably again on Saucecast as well. So I got that happening. Again, Mikhaila, I'll be there. Offers on the table. I'll be happy. Well, I'll take her fishing. We'll do something. We'll go smoke cigars at the cigar bar in Brickell. I got cigar. I will take pictures and put it on my Instagram of us like smoke. She's not really gonna smoke a cigar, but we'll be smoking cigars, right? How's that? We'll just hang out. Me and Scarlett hang out with Rollo Day. That would be awesome. I'm gonna do it. So call me, man. Call me. I'm much safer. You know me. I'm good. I'm a dad, man. Dad. All right, you guys. Thank you very much. There will be no Wednesday show, except for the Wednesday show will be on Fresh and Fit. So do watch that. It's the show's already lined up too, so you can go and you subscribe, but you can also get the notifications for it. So when it comes, that's coming on Wednesday. I will be flying in the air to Miami tomorrow. And if I have time, I might actually go see if I can see Donovan because I know he's in Reno today. So I might go check that out. There you go. All right, you guys. Thank you very, very much. And I will see you soon. Be sure to, and then last but not least, make sure that you check out, you all, geez, got really bright in here all of a sudden. Make sure that you check out my Instagram for more updates and everything else that's going on. So there you have it. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Good.